It's Sunday over in America. Here in the UK, it's Monday morning. It is 1:40 a.m. and we are all getting ready for this. It's 9 p.m. over there in America, Eastern Time, 8 p.m. nearly closing up in Central. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are in the world, and welcome to the Bommarito Automotive Group 500 here at Worldwide Technology Raceway, more commonly known in St. Louis as Gateway. We've had to move up the start procedure. We've been chasing down rain all day here. The rain is coming in, so we've now got the start time changed. We're getting set, and we are going to head down for pre-race ceremonies with IndyCar Radio before we link up with Fox. And I'm Joshua Birch. I'm going to be on the commentary for today's action. Let's head to pre-race ceremonies.
But always entertaining day in the Chevrolet Detroit Grand Prix. And in the end, it was pole sitter Alex Palou leading 71 laps to take his fourth win of the season and second on the streets of the Motor City.
Yeah, man, big fights. Yeah, Kyle and Power, they were incredible on the restarts. I think Kyle had the advantage there at the end on the restarts with the tires, but we kind of had it on the long run. But yeah, it was tough, man. I didn't know if we were going to have it or not, especially with so many restarts, not having enough push to pass at the end either. I think everybody was on the same page. But yeah, incredible win for the number 10 Honda. Incredible work by everybody at CTR once again, and fourth win of the season, so incredible.
For 2025 Detroit winner Kyle Kirkwood, it was a solid second-place finish, but still a day that left him wondering what might have been.
If we would have had that tire advantage and we were right behind Palou on that one restart where we're both on new, it would have been a much different story. We probably would have stood out. And then we had another yellow that caught me while I was trying to make a pass on Palou. It literally comes out right as I'm getting to his gearbox to make a move, which was the only opportunity I really had. So, yeah, two unlucky yellows for us kind of hindered us from winning, but nonetheless, second is very good.
Near the halfway point, Graham Rahal was involved in an incident with Kiffin Simpson in turn 3, but he rallied to take his third podium finish in the last 5 races for an RLL team that's on the rise.
A lot of carnage, a lot of stuff going on today, but yeah, we'll take it. I mean, for everybody, for all of our partners, it feels good to have a little bit of a run like this. 3 podiums in 5 races, I think. And, you know, I mean, you got to have a little bit of luck here and there, too. But today we had a really fast car. When we needed to go, we had a lot of pace, and that's what we needed. And we were able to, for the most part, keep her clean, other than the Kiffin part, you know, and be able to get her home.
Pato O'Ward would finish 4th. Christian Lundgaard rounded out the top 5. Indianapolis 500 winner Felix Rosenqvist came from 16th to finish 6th. Louis Foster equaled his career best finish in 7th. Marcus Ericsson was 8th, Kiffin Simpson 9th, and Joseph Newgarden was the big mover on the day from 21st to finishing 10th. Time of the race, 1 hour and 59 minutes, with Alex Palou winning the Chevrolet Detroit Grand Prix.
Thanks, Alex. Good stuff. The anthem again set for 7:52 local time, and the command set for 1 minute past the top of the hour here at the Bommarito Automotive Group 500.
This is IndyCar Radio. Find us on the IndyCar app powered by NTT.
From the green to the checkered, what drives our drivers is a passion that has made them the best in the world. Global Medical Response, a proud partner of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway and NTT IndyCar Series, invites you to follow your passion with a career in emergency medical services. As a GMR first responder, you will be on the front line of medicine, playing a vital role in your community and providing care in any crisis. Our teams include nurses, paramedics, emergency medical technicians, pilots, dispatchers, and mechanics. Learn more at gmr.net/careers.
Hauling stuff for a DIY project or planning a big move? Whether you're headed across town or across country, Penske Truck Rental has some of the cleanest, newest, and best maintained vehicles on the road. With quick pickup and drop-off, flexible reservations, and personalized support, we can help ensure you get the right, reliable, fuel-efficient vehicle when and where you need it. Gain ground with Penske. Get a quote at PenskeTruckRental.com or download the Penske Truck Rental mobile app today.
This is IndyCar Radio, powered by Only Bulls, nationwide on the IMS Radio Network.
For crave-worthy catering with a creative side, choose McAllister's Deli and our signature build-your-own mac and cheese, nachos, and Spud food bars. Each bar setup includes a spread of chef-selected toppings, so your guests can build their ideal mac and cheese, perfect pile of nachos, or unique spin on a Spud. So make your next meeting or event unforgettable with McAllister's Catering. Order your build-your-own food bar online or in our restaurant. McAllister's Deli. Order ahead. We'll take care of the rest.
Feel the roar? Hear the history. Step inside the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Museum where the thrill of the Indianapolis 500 comes to life. Walk through 10 distinct galleries packed with legendary Indy 500 winning cars. Test your skills in immersive simulators. Take on the Pit Stop Challenge. Explore exciting, engaging, and educational exhibits that celebrate and preserve the history of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. It's award-winning and it's unforgettable for race fans of all ages. Start your engines and plan your visit today at imsmuseum.org.
Well, again, Mother Nature is looming, and we think we have a good shot of getting the whole thing in, but doing what they can to get it all in. The anthem set for just a few minutes from now. The command at a minute past the hour. Joined by our driver analyst, Davey Hamilton. And, Davey, this really causes a bit of stress for all those race strategists and drivers.
Yeah, it sure does because, you know, we do feel like it's going to get the entire race in, but you just don't know. I mean, we're not a meteorologist. We think we know. Most of the time we don't, so we're hoping and praying that we get this entire race in and strategy goes as planned. But every single one of these teams have meteorologists, and on their teams they have people around the city knowing if rain comes or not to warn them, and it's a very important thing because once you're 50% laps, 50% completed, this race can be called complete. So you want to be in front when that happens or if that happens, and we're hoping that it doesn't, but boy, I'm excited for this thing to go, Mark. I mean, what a great Indy Next race.
I was just going to ask you about that. That track's got to be a lot of grip in the race.
It's really good. I was able to give two-seaters after that race before just finished up before this IndyCar race, and I did this second line. I didn't go to third, but I went to second. Very good grip. You can carry a lot of momentum through there. Very excited. I think it's going to be a really good track for these for the Indy cars.
So some drivers in the back half of the field expressing a little concern after the practice session last night about how well their cars would do. Lundgaard, Foster, some of those, Christian Rasmussen back there, Will Power, another one. They've got some work to do. Yeah. On the other hand, those at the top of the grid were obviously very, very pleased with their cars.
Yeah, and I think, you some guys have good. If everybody had a perfect car, it would be just a follow the leader thing, but it's not that easy. And every driver requires something a little different on his car than the next, and getting them right is just not, it's a task. Believe me, not easy to do it all. So I really feel like the track's there. If they have their car right, they can come from the back to the front because they just did that in Indy Next. Miles Rowe did a great job by doing that in Indy Next.
260 laps. So how many stops are we looking at?
It's a three-stopper. If it's straightforward, it's a three-stopper. But what can happen here, and looking back in the history, if a yellow flag comes out a little bit early in lap 50 or so, but guys are going to take it. They're going to take that, and that adds a stop at the end of this event. But so it's all dependent on yellows. But if a straightforward race at 65, I like this race. I think there's different strategies that you could do. I'm going to keep track of several of them, and once the yellows come out, I'm going to start doing my homework and seeing where everybody's going to land.
History may be the only thing that slows Alex Palou down. He hasn't really set the world on fire. Not done awful, but hasn't gotten to victory lane. And only three times has a driver won for the pole here.
Yeah, that's right. So it's not always the fastest car that wins because that strategy falls into play. Now, do you want a fast car? Absolutely, but just because you have a fast car at the start of a stint doesn't mean you're going to have a fast car at the end of a stint. Lap 65, the fuel's light, your tires are wore out. It could be a completely different thing, and the deg on these tires and the speed loss is pretty incredible at times. So this is a harder tire that Firestone brought, so I don't think the deg is going to fall off as much as we've seen it in the past, but it's definitely going to fall off, and it's an extremely long pit lane, but if you're losing too much time, it's worth taking that extra stop.
We will go trackside for pre-race festivities when we come back to the Bommarito Automotive Group 500.
Be a part of the action. Create your own IndyCar team and compete in the IndyCar Fantasy Challenge driven by Firestone. To get started, download the Grid Rival app or go to IndyCar.com/fantasy.
These days, you've got two choices. Buying a new car or making the one you've got run like new. We know which one we'd choose. That's why at Firestone Complete Auto Care, we have thousands of ASE certified technicians nationwide, trained to spot an issue with your car before it becomes a problem, no matter the make or model. Get more out of your car. Firestone Complete Auto Care. Call or go online at firestoneauto.com to book today.
At Indy, the difference between winning and losing is measured in milliseconds. Will Scott understands the importance of a good start. Our mobile offices, storage containers, refrigerated units, fabric structures, fencing, and overhead canopies provide the flexible, scalable solutions you need. Fast delivery and special pricing will have your site up and running at top speed. Serving North America with over 5,000 local experts across 250-plus locations, we have the solutions and scale to support all your project needs, big or small. Will Scott will get your space ready to go right from the start.
This is IndyCar Radio, powered by Only Bulls, nationwide on the IMS Radio Network.
If you're going on a trip and you need a car reservation, call the car reservation hotline now for access to every major rental car deal across the United States. We can save you a ton of money. Don't get lost searching, and don't get lost in an endless phone tree nightmare. When you call us, there's never a hold time. You'll get connected to a real human. We have access to crazy rental car deals, and we make it easy. Just one phone call to access everything. How much simpler can it get? Find out right now for free what kind of car rental deals we can get you. You'll be amazed. Pick up the phone and call the car rental hotline right now.
Call 800-797-1239. 800-797-1239.
We'll even give you one free rental car day with your reservation. Write this number down right now and call.
Call 800-797-1239. That's 800-797-1239.
The 10th annual Bommarito Automotive Group 500 presented by Exalta and Valvoline will be the 18th IndyCar Series race at Worldwide Technology Raceway. Kyle Kirkwood won here for the first time in 2025. Paul Tracy won the very first IndyCar Series race held here in 1997. Kirkwood, five-time winner Joseph Newgarden, two-time winner Scott Dixon, and Will Power are the only former winners entered in this year's race. Three drivers, as we said, have won here from the pole. Juan Pablo Montoya in 2000, Gil de Ferran in 2002, and Elio Castroneves in 2003. Team Penske has won 9 times at Worldwide Technology Raceway. So it's time to go trackside.
Father God, thank you for the gift of life, the gift of living in such an incredible nation full of freedoms. Freedoms that were paid for with a high price. And so, God, we lift up our brave men and women serving both abroad and within our borders, guarding those freedoms for us to gather like this tonight. So, Father, we pray for our drivers, our teams, our safety personnel, and these incredible fans that we would have an exciting and a safe night of racing. But most of all, we say thank you for the abundant peace available to all through Jesus, in whose name I pray. Amen.
Here to honor America with the performance of the national anthem, please welcome Technical Sergeant Raymond Ruffin of the United States Air Force Band of Mid-America.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
At tonight's flyover, a C-130 airlift squadron from the Airlift Squadron in Little Rock, Arkansas at the Little Rock Air Force Base.
This is IndyCar Radio. Find us on TuneIn Premium.
Now's the time for a great deal from Honda on one of our efficient hybrids. With incredible value and thrilling performance, they're fun to drive. Drive and drive. From the Kelley Blue Book Best Performance brand, check out the Honda Prelude Hybrid, CR-V Hybrid, Accord Hybrid, or Civic Hybrid. Honda, proud partner of the NTT IndyCar Series.
See dealer for financing details based on 2025 Consumer Choice Awards from Kelley Blue Book. Visit kbb.com for more information.
Racing Optics is the official aero screen and helmet protective solution. The family legacy of participating in and working with IndyCar for 60-plus years. Visit racingoptics.com to learn more about the windshield protection and helmet tear-offs featured on every IndyCar.
This is IndyCar Radio, powered by Only Bulls, nationwide on the IMS Radio Network.
Learn how thousands of smart homeowners are investing about $1 to avoid expensive home repair bills. John, a former non-customer, said, "My air conditioner broke and I had to spend $1,900 to fix it." Jeff, a customer, wrote, "My air conditioner broke and I got a new one at no out-of-pocket cost." Mary, a former non-customer, wrote, "My heating system stopped running. I had to spend $3,000 to get a new one." Lisa, a customer, wrote, "My heater stopped working. I got it fixed at no out-of-pocket cost." For about $1 a day, you can have all the major appliances and systems in your home guaranteed fixed or replaced. Call now. If the lines are busy, please call back.
Call the Home Warranty Hotline now at 800-413-4376, 800-413-4376, 800-413-4376. That's 800-413-4376.
Here's on the point stand right now. Alex Below with 327. Kyle Kirkwood, 265. David Malukas, 248. Christian Lundgaard, 226. Pato Award in the top 5 at 220. The engine manufacturers update. It's been all Honda so far. They lead 690 points to 587 for Chevrolet. And the Firestone Pit Stop Performance Award after a strong performance in Detroit. Graham Rahal's crew leading Ganassi's Wolfpack, Scott Dixon's crew, 251 to 226. Team Penske tied in there with Joseph Newgarden's car, 226. And Juncos Hollinger Racing with Renus VK at 211. And Davey, admittedly, there were skeptics about the announcement of a late Sunday night race, but I'll tell you, it looks like a great call because we've got people still trying to get into this racetrack.
Absolutely jam-packed. I don't know where they're going to sit once they get in here, but the road going from the interstate coming into this facility, absolutely jam-packed. And these grandstands, what a great event. I'm so excited that this event's turned into what it is, and such a great place for races. The fans love it, and this place is packed.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, the 10th anniversary and obviously a pretty impressive presentation to kick off our pre-race festivities to Jonathan Bommarito and the Bommarito Automotive Group. I mean, it was he and Curtis Francois that first got together, got Chris Blair involved, and 10 years later, this event is as strong as any on the calendar, Davey.
Yeah, no question about it. I mean, I think this is a favorite for the drivers, obviously the fans, and for everybody that's involved. This is one that people say, man, you got to go to St. Louis. And if you haven't been here and seen this city, there's so many things to do. Matter of fact, we went to a game the other night, which was a lot of fun. The track's right close to the city, obviously, so a lot of things to do. This racetrack, as I said, produces such great racing. If you love IndyCar racing and you haven't been to this one, you need to come.
We should make mention of the fact, Davey, all of this is going on a weekend where it's very busy from in terms of other sporting events and things to see and do in St. Louis.
Yeah, no, it's jam-packed. And that was another question. I'm going, geez, are they sure that they want to go against all the other sporting events going on in the city and a Sunday night, as you said? But, man, it didn't slow these fans down at all. And as you said, the midway's packed. The grandstands are packed. The road's coming in here. So what a great thing.
What a great thing indeed as we get set then for this one. Let's welcome you up to the commentary box. Hello to everybody, both on JB Motorsports and the Ultimate Sports Media. We are in what is hopefully going to be not a too bad a holding pattern, but for the 10th annual Bommarito Automotive Group 500, we're hopeful that we're going to get this race in. So, to explain, we are fighting the weather. Mother Nature again providing to be a cruel mistress. We're keeping our fingers crossed the race is going to start. Right now, let's head over and join our colleagues at Fox as we get ready for pre-race ceremonies and the command to start engines.
The IndyCar Series reaches the midway point of the 2026 season under the lights in St. Louis as we go for glory at Gateway. 260 laps under the lights, and we cannot wait to roll to green. Alex Palou, your championship leader, starts from the pole. Alongside him, the man who was denied by inches at the Indianapolis 500, David Malukas. We've got weather in the area, so we've brought the start forward. We don't want to deny you any longer the action due to take place tonight. So without further ado, why don't we run straight down trackside for the command to get things kicked off here in St. Louis.
Here to give the command, please welcome the president of Bommarito Automotive Group, John Bommarito.
Race fans in the stands tonight, and the millions more watching from home, welcome to fabulous Worldwide Technology Raceway and home of the Bommarito Automotive Group 500. Presented by our friends at Axalta and Valvoline. This truly is one of the greatest shows on four wheels. Make sure after the race, you log on to Bommarito.com, where we can buy, sell, or trade your next vehicle. Let's get this race started. Drivers, start your engine!
Engines are fired. We are all set to get going. Good afternoon, everybody. Good evening, good morning, wherever you are in the world. It's 8 o'clock over there in the Bommarito Automotive Group 500. It's very late. It's very early. It's all over the place. That's what today's going to be.
And Newgarden, the top 10, rounded out by O'Rourke and Rossi. Behind them, Graham Rahal and Marcus Ericsson, Renus VK and Kevin Simpson, Santino Ferrucci and Christian Lundgaard, Louis Foster. Mick Schumacher, his teammate, alongside then Rasmussen, who always goes so well on this type of track. Behind him is Collette, Power, Siegel and Grosjean.
Got some news though for the number 19 of Dennis Hauger. However, we have got an issue with him. Dennis Hauger, the number 19, Dale Coyne Racing, it was leaking some fluid and the car is back in the garage area, so it looks like he might not have much of a chance to restart this race. Right now though, let's check in what happened last time we were on an oval just 2 weeks ago. It was Felix Rosenqvist over the line by 0.023 seconds. He took victory away from David Malukas, and Rosenqvist was the winner of the 110th Indy 500. What are we going to have here in the Bommarito Automotive Group 500? Good afternoon.
You see the Borg Warner Trophy beside his name on this Sirius XM onboard. That's going to be there all season long to signify that incredible finish. But Townsend, we are now away from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We're at a racetrack that has almost nothing in common with Indy other than the fact it's an oval. You need a completely different skill set, a completely different race car, a completely different strategy here tonight.
But you need the same bravery to win here in St. Louis. Well, this track demands going big to pull off a win. This guy right here, one of the very best, PNC with Scott Dixon.
You talk about going big in the Indy Next race that we saw earlier today. Miles Rowe started last and won. It was an incredible drive. Will we see something like that today? And folks, when we talk about going big, Felix Rosenqvist in the boombastic livery. Gateway does it like no one else.
I'm looking forward to this. Where's the boom? It's coming! Boom! There it is!
once again, we are rocked on our feet up here in our commentary box.
We're about 700 feet away, and you can feel the entire main grandstand shake and the heat coming off those flames.
Well, if it feels hot up here, what's it like down on pit lane?
Guys, that is just so awesome to see each and every year, and it gets bigger and better every year. But my eyes, like you've talked about, are on David Malukas. Second, the Indy 500. We're back on an oval, a whole new set of challenges, but he's also going to start second today. He's podiumed here twice, 22 and 2023, and there's a lot of twos swirling around David Malukas in this 12 team right now. He's looking for the one here in St. Louis. Jack.
Thanks, G. Another driver who is so good on these short ovals, Christian Rasmussen. Will already said it. Third last year at this race. He then followed that up at Milwaukee with his first career win. He followed that up with a contract extension from ECR on a multi-year agreement. Watch out for this driver today. Kevin.
Jack, this was supposed to be the track that four-time champion Alex Palou hasn't yet fully figured out yet. And then he's fastest in the first practice and wins pole by a very wide margin. And he said it's the best he's ever felt here. It might be a tall task to topple Palou tonight.
It might be, but there are 23 other drivers on track right now, hoping to topple the unflappable.
Yeah, but Palou's the first driver to win 4 straight poles since 2011. He's also the points leader coming into this one. This is going to be a very interesting race. It's cold here in the UK in the middle of the night. I've got a bit of a nose going, so we're about 1 to go to the green.
In the championship. Why don't we take a quick look at the Honda track preview before we get this thing underway.
Yeah, one of the most unique ovals in the world because it's a completely different geometry end-to-end. It measures 1.25 miles, but down in turns 1 and 2, you've got 11 degrees of banking. Drivers will even use the brake pedal at times, getting in there during the race tonight. About 184 on the way in, and then all the way down to about 152, James. Then the long back straightaway into a completely different set of corners.
Yeah, you're downshifting in 1 and 2 to get a great launch off of 2 down this back straight where you can keep it pinned flat to the floor. 182 miles an hour max speed turning in, only scrubbing off about 10 or 12 miles an hour if you're in clean air on new tires. You can hold the throttle down full out in clean air. In traffic, we'll see if they can get up into that second lane. We saw a lot of that running happening in practice, and it did look good.
Drivers spent about 40 minutes last night rubbering in the high lane.
But this is the halfway stage of the season. It's round 9 of 18. But after today, we are really in the championship hunt. Palou holding in. Pace car will come in soon, and we're getting set this time by for green.
Courtesy of Homes for Our Troops, Santino Ferrucci, who we know adores this kind of racetrack.
Here we go.
And the chances that it presents for him to do what he loves best. Go.
Pace car has come in. They're 2 by 2. Alex Palou, David Malukas and Carl Kirkwood as we get ready for the start of the 10th annual Bommarito Automotive Group 500. They're on the backstretch coming into turn 3 and 4. Right, Palou has won on an oval this year. What are we going to see from him starting from pole position? 260 laps ahead of us. It's our 7th week running. It's our 5th race in a row. What have we got to deliver? The green flag falls under the lights and we are racing at Worldwide Technology Raceway into turn 1. Palou defends. Malukas going round the outside, almost touching with Kyle Kirkwood. He's doing nicely in 1 and 2 as they rise up the hill. It's a smooth start from everybody, and that's what we like to see. We knew that there was going to be a bit of a problem as Rosenquist tries to come in side by side. Dixon's up into P6 already. McLaughlin's dropped down to 7th. Armstrong now going back up there as well. And over the line, there's Felix Rosenquist already seeing the remarkable manoeuvres. That's what you like. So not as bad as we were expecting it to be fair. We were worried about early cautions. Average lap speed we're running now is around about 26 seconds. So it's going to take around about 130 minutes to complete. That's just over 2 hours. And we are running with the rain in the air as well. Race Control says the start is under review. That's because several cars further back were moving before the green came on as they fly in once more. Terrific start. Don't forget, everyone on the black primary tyres for this event. No one's going to change over as they come down over the backstretch once more. Palou leading from Malukas, Kirkwood, Rosenquist, Newgarden, Armstrong, Dixon, McLaughlin, Ericsson, O'Ward the top 10. Right, onto lap 4 already. That's literally just 1 minute 40 seconds and 3 laps down. Over we go. There's Will Power trying to go around the outside in the centre of the circuit. Nolan Siegel and Louis Foster. Now he's side by side as well with the 18 of Romain Grosjean in the TWG powered car. And Power does go back round the outside. Lap 4 of 260 here at the Bommarito Automotive Group 500. Simpson has been given a drive-through penalty for being out of line at the start. So Simpson's going to have to serve that, and he's doing that this time by. He's come down the pit lane as a result. Let's go back over then to battle screen to give you the full details during this race. This is just me up here in the comms box at the moment. Palou leading from Malukas, just behind by 7/10 of a second. Smooth start then already as they come in. But Simpson's going to lose so much more time. Fuel window, pit guys.
260 lap race, so you really want to get to lap 52 to make this a 4-stop adventure tonight. I'm really liking the look of the dark blue and turquoise car of Marcus Ericsson, the number 28.
There's a little bit, and there's the penalty again for Simpson. A little bit of an audio problem from our Fox colleague side as they come into it right now. Ericsson looking in strong. Is he going to find anything to try and slip back through? We've lost television. Pictures up in the box. We've got an update on the board as they come out of the last 2 corners and over the line once more. Ericsson looking to the inside line to get ahead of Scotty Mack. Scotty Mack's in that famous Marlboro throwback livery that on this weekend as well, with the red and the white. There's the confirmation of Kevin Simpson being out of line and being given a penalty and a drive-through. That has changed in. Hello, Because M3 Race Car. Hello, everybody. Listening in both on JB Motorsports and Ultimate Sports Media. As we see now, Alexander Rossi having the in 11th position behind Lundgaard, trying to go on the inside of Venus VK and makes that move stick coming in towards turn 3. So there is now a swap over coming and immediately being fought back as VK dives to the inside line at turn 1. VK can't get it, so Lundgaard goes back on the attack through 1 and 2. Now, it's not going to be too long until we start hitting the lap traffic, and it's the 77 of Stingray Rob is towards the back, but it's Dennis Hauger running in 25th position. He is out of position as things currently stand here as we rise up for the occasion. What a fantastic event we are already seeing with 10 laps in.
Of the night so far, that is Kyle Collette, the rookie.
Brazilian rookie who's nursing very sore ribs from a huge crash at the Indy 500 2 weeks ago. He told us he's getting daily injections to manage the pain from broken ribs on the right-hand side. So for the rookie to be up 6 spots, he's showing terrific grit tonight.
2 of the best guys on short ovals, Rasmussen and Ferrucci. Rasmussen in the blue and yellow machine, the red, white, and blue of Ferrucci behind. This is the Splendid car looking.
Yeah, we'll have to keep an eye out to see if that's going to change something. Let's have a look with the speed cam then. 4 drivers, now 6 drivers we've got on boards as to come through. Just a channel update coming through to you now as well. For those of you watching, coverage of the Bommarito or the 500 from Worldwide Technology Raceway continues now on Fox. You can follow the leaderboard coming through there as well. So literally all they needed was 10 minutes or so and it's back on, so that's a shame. But Ericsson closing in from Kyle Collette. Let's say good afternoon to Tom Gatemore.
Power now starting to hunt down Rasmussen. He's won this race before. He's been on the pole here 5 times. Knows how to get it done around here. Loves this circuit. A horrible qualifying for him, which is really reflective of a very difficult start to life with Andretti. Moving to the team from Penske this season just hasn't really come together for him and the team.
Really good to see
So Rasmussen now moving to the inside line, and that's going to make a move on Kyle Collette. Collette, as we heard, having very sore ribs after the accident he had at the Indianapolis 500 2 weeks ago. Managed to race at Detroit in a little bit of pain. That not really ideal, but it was taken that was the appropriate response Palou leading by 1.2 seconds at the moment as Rasmussen now complete in the front. Car collects under attack from Will Power, who's trying to look around the outside. Power's really on the attack through 3 and 4. Can he get the traction at the exit? Yes, he can. Brilliant move around the outside from Will Power. He now takes over in the front of the field. So Power is finding the momentum that we were expecting here. Palou, Malukas, Kirkwood, Rosenquist, Newgarden, they have the top 5. Allo at the start, we need that coming. That's the third time we've seen that message come through from Race Control now. It's 16 laps.
Going on. So that lead car is producing 100% of clean downforce, but that trailing car, the blue one, loses downforce when it gets into that dirty air. And through the banking, you need every bit of front grip to make it through the corners. So when you lose downforce like that, you got to pop up and find some clean air. But that car ahead can really be strategic about making chess moves and putting dirty air onto your front wing. It's a game you're going to see all night long.
Newgarden has put the move on the Indy 500 with Felix Rosenquist, and now Ericsson goes to take it.
Ericsson around the outside makes that move stick as well in the best possible way. He was throwing all the traction in together as we ride on board now with Marcus Ericsson. He's looking ahead to a fellow Indy 500 champion, Felix Rosenquist, who won it here this year. Ericsson all over the place. Rosenquist holding P5, strong though. 0.1, there's only a tenth of a second gap at the moment as well. There's nothing between them. Fox didn't even show the start here in the States, only on FS1. Wow, I'm glad we could help you cover something here. Ericsson to the inside line. Very tight, radio.
Good run here. Nice job. Very nicely done. Then keep working on turn 2. Quite a bit on this here. And take care of those front tires then.
You see that.
Interesting about the team radio that we heard there with the intercom message coming through as they continue on the attack and on the forward motion. This is being a very, very treacherous start because you make one mistake here at Worldwide Technology Raceway, you are in the wall. It is that crazy a battle. So, at the moment, Palou leading by 1.5 seconds to Malukas. Kirkwood. Then it's Newgarden and Ericsson completing the top 5 as Fox go to commercial break after 20 laps and the opening 10 minutes of the race. We say good afternoon to what I imagine is a very sleepy Tom Gaymore. Afternoon, Tom.
Well, fascinating stuff here at Gateway. Welcome to Sky IndyCar fans who have either stayed up or set their alarm to watch this 260 laps, the Bommarito Automotive Group 500. And there is no better spectacle than IndyCars under lights on a short oval, 1.25 miles this Gateway Oval. And Palou was the master yesterday, and he's looking very comfortable in clean air right now. The challenge comes on a short oval when the head of the snake catches the tail, and Palou will be managing that pace now, keeping himself comfortable from Malukas and making sure that he can eke out that gap to the back of the snake, because as soon as he gets into dirty air, he will start to work those front tyres. And you've heard some of the drivers talking about understeer at the moment, and that is very much been the theme of this weekend so far. The understeer, once it builds in, it's very, very hard to get rid of that. On board with Will Power, he's one of the big movers and shakers. You heard the Fox team talking about how good he has been around this circuit. There have been 5 winners in the first 8 NTT IndyCar Series races this season. Will Power hasn't been one of them, but he's been close. He's led 5 races this year, but it just hasn't worked out for the overall result. And he would be desperate to get into victory lane here today. We saw Miles Rowe do it from 24th in the Indy Next race earlier on. And Will Power, one of many drivers coming from further back after a difficult qualifying session. He's following Rasmussen at the moment, trying to get those two cars further to the front. Ericsson further up in the top 6 is another driver who has been on the move. And Newgarden, another one of those, pushing up to the back of Kirkwood, making it 2 Team Penske cars in the top 4. But at the moment it's Palou who looks very, very comfortable, with Malukas in second, Carl Kirkwood in third, about halfway through this opening stint.
1.4 seconds from David Malukas. Carl Kirkwood is third, then
Yeah, and welcome back. Thank you very much over there, Tom. So, Palou by... oh, and that's a brush of the wall for Alex Palou, actually. Getting a little bit too wide coming out of turn number 2 on the back stretch into 3 and 4. It's such a short over. It's 26 seconds in total. We're already 26 laps in. So, just effectively, not that many laps to go, is it, really? 233 in total. But you lose out so much faster times on this one. Palou timings are critical. Malukas now, how many places have we seen? Palou, exactly where he needed to be, but the differential's unbelievable as it's circling around. Because there's a race car, yeah, that was a really late start, but at least it won't end as late as NASCAR race. Oh, well, yeah, possibly. Georgia.
His way through the field, but Newgarden now at 5 position. Ericsson up 5 as well. They told him that Ericsson was running a line higher than him in some way, but they've kind of evened out, gotten together, and now running the same line. But all the spotters watching Marcus Ericsson right now.
Newgarden getting...
All the spotters are also looking at the sky. They know it could rain at any moment. That's why we're starting the race half an hour early. We've got an extra 30 laps in just in case. As Ericsson goes to the inside line of Carl Kirkwood and makes the move up into 4th position. That was a little bit of a critical run. I do agree with you, though, because they're 3 race cars. Well, you know, it will finish earlier than the NASCARs were expected. The last couple of races for NASCAR across all series have been a little bit long, just a wee bit long, but it's still going to be about 4 a.m. here in the UK for another week running. And next week, oh, guess what? It's Le Mans. So another 24 hours, plus then Pocono for NASCAR, which I know they don't have lights, so that kind of makes it sense. Pocono won't be as late to finish, but I'm going to be very, very exhausted next week. I think Monday might just be a rest day, like Yoda. Rest I must, weak I am. Palou, though, by 1.2. Malukas and Newgarden. Can David Malukas find something inside to win here tonight? As a little bit of a redemption for missing out on the Indy 500. Nothing will ever replace missing out on the 500, but a win at an oval, no matter where it is, it sets you up ready for the 500 in 2027. We saw Joseph Newgarden have that as side-by-side. VK going back round the outside of Lundgaard now for 12th position and makes that move stick, and that's going to bring Christian Rasmussen, who's in 14th place, to try and have a little bit of a slipstream manoeuvre. This is getting very, very entertaining. We're riding on board also with David Malukas on our Fox onboard camera. You can watch that as well alongside our broadcast as Rasmussen tries to go around the outside of 1 on Lundgaard. Lundgaard's got him covered. Oh, maybe not. Round the outside, Rasmussen in turn 2, and he's got the move. Fantastic from Christian Rasmussen. Now, are we going to see Lundgaard fight back on the inside? No. Rasmussen round the outside in a tremendous move.
The line right now, I'll use the high line all night long.
Great job for him not keeping it very straight in front of you.
A little coaching coming on from the spotter up in the grandstands.
That's Packy Wheeler, who had high anxiety coaching Rasmussen across the line to that win in Milwaukee I just mentioned, because Rasmussen was sideways 2 or 3 times a lap for about 50 laps to take that win. He's the most exciting driver on the short oval because he's so brave and absolutely has the technique down.
But hearing that radio communication, what that tells me is that Rasmussen, who's second last in points arriving here in St. Louis, he's been beaten up by this season. Needing Packy Wheeler there to G him up, to tell him, I'm proud of you, you're doing a great job.
It comes with a little bit of nervousness, though, in the voice, because he knows that these are sketchy circumstances. So many things just rely on a very narrow envelope of assumptions.
This race is closing in. 36 of... Hang on a minute, we've only been on air. We've only been back from ad break for 6 minutes. Not even that, 3 minutes. Why are we going to ad break again? Tom Gable, over to you.
Another short oval and another evening of Christian Rasmussen doing Christian Rasmussen things, and he's just got it down to a fine art, but he's not the only one on the move. Joseph Newgarden looking very strong. We saw Marcus Ericsson in the opening exchanges as well as Will Power. And all the while, we watch Christian Rasmussen on board with Scott McLaughlin at the moment with that Helio Castroneves tribute livery.
A little hooky on the whip into 2. Copy that.
Okay.
That is some team radio there for Scott McLaughlin. And all of the Penske cars in the top 8. Alex Palou looking very, very strong out front. He's caught the tail of the snake because there's 1 or 2 drivers out there not having the best of evenings in the office. And Louis Foster, one of those. He's still behind Stingray Robb, and you've got Mick Schumacher and Nolan Siegel there. Romain Grosjean, another one, the Lonedale Coin car. He's got a broken hand, of course, after that incident in Detroit last time. Had surgery on the Monday night, is here. One of a few drivers with an injury. Kyle Collette, Joseph Newgarden, Mick Schumacher, Alexander Rossi, to name but a few with broken bones. It is a difficult business, IndyCar racing, as we ride on board with the Estimo Team Penske machine of Joseph Newgarden. And I said he was racy early on in the session. Marcus Ericsson now starting to come back at that Penske car as Joseph Newgarden used a bit too much of those tyres, as Ericsson now having a look up the inside of turn 1. How good is that car in dirty air is the $1 million question. We saw Joseph Newgarden look very, very comfortable, and now Palou has been caught by Malukas. This is what we love about the short oval, that lead, that pace that Palou was setting earlier on. Well, it's all been eaten up because he's stuck behind Stingray Robb now. That's allowed David Malukas to close up to the back of the Chip Ganassi machine, and Joseph Newgarden's coming with him with Marcus Ericsson. The 4 at the front are nose to tail as we come to the end of this green flag stint. We're trying to get another 10 laps or so out of these tyres. Can they do it to make it a 4-stopper as Newgarden slips through on his teammate? Malukas down to 3rd, and Ericsson with the run.
This is absolutely incredible racing right now as they close it in. Palou, absolutely a generational talent, holding on. Ericsson goes through into 3rd position. He's got ahead of David Malukas. Newgarden still in 2nd position. Palou trying to hold on and push together. As you join us again from Fox Sports over in America, it's lap 45 now coming through shortly. We've got 217 laps to go in this event, and we are pushing absolutely mad. So now it's 45 of 260, and they are holding it together. 20 minutes in total. Actually not that bad of a run in total. Look at this. This is Newgarden losing out on time to Marcus Ericsson. Ericsson's going to try and find a way through. He's looking very close down towards the turn 1 again. This time last year, Joseph Newgarden was upside down on the start-finish straight as well in a nasty, horrendous accident. I remember myself and Jake Santon on the commentary for that one, and it was not great. And down the inside, Ericsson's going for the move into 3, and he's taken him. Marcus Ericsson takes 2nd position away, and now Palou is just ahead. So far, look at the top 3. They're all Indy 500 winners. And Malukas gets ahead of his teammate Newgarden, making my statement immediately rectified. Wow!
One to go if he wants to take the lead of this race. The fact that Palou hasn't been able to clear the lap cars in front, not a great sign for him. The important thing right now for Ericsson and the 28 team is to stay in front of the balance of this race car as it evolves, as the track changes over the course of the night. Make those subtle adjustments to the tools in the car, make those adjustments to tires and wings in pit lane as Palou is still not able to get around Stingray.
You do not have to cede position to the leader. You are allowed to fight to remain on the lead lap in IndyCar,
And now it's side by side. Marcus Ericsson goes and takes the lead of the race away from Alex Palou. After 46 laps, lap 47 will be led by a new driver. Marcus Ericsson leads here at Gateway. He's already put out 0.3 of a second to Palou. That's just insane already from the statement. Look at that, 4/10, 5/10. Ericsson has got the best car here, and Andretti finally starting to see it. Is into the pit lane now. Lundgaard, Siegel, McLaughlin, Rosenquist and Rossi, they're all diving into the pit lane. Don't know if Lundgaard might have been, yeah, Lundgaard was in. So now finally seeing some stops, as that is Stingray Robb, who is in 20th position, about to have a lap put on him. Rasmussen's got ahead of Rosenquist in 8th place as well, so we are seeing data changes over there. What a tremendous battle this all is, and the racing action here is superb as always at Gateway. They are holding everything in together. McLaughlin has coming in. Rosenquist, Rossi, all in.
Munich is a racing driver to just get a taste of the front as cars start to come to pit lane.
Scott McLaughlin's on pit lane. Our Indy 500 winner, Felix Rosenquist, is up and out and sent.
And that's a little bit short, James. I think you really want to see lap 52 to comfortably make that first stop if you're going to do it tonight on 4 pit stops.
So what these teams are hoping for is to now come out, use those fresh Firestones to really lay down some fast laps as the leaders are caught in this train of traffic, not able to unleash the full speed of their machines and hopefully close that gap as the run goes on, as Georgia down in pit lane as some of the leaders are coming in.
Yeah, the pair of Penske's coming in. David Malukas, the first to his box, is going to be 4 tires of fuel. Has been pretty quiet on the radio. Newgarden also in his box been saying he's been leaning too much on the right. We are a little loose on entry.
Race off pit lane for the 2 Team Penske cars. Who's going to get it? But the race on the racetrack, still Ericsson. Look at this drag race. It looks like the 2 is going to get it. But Jack, the 27's coming to you.
He is indeed, James, caught up with Brian Hurton. I just asked him about the balance, how happy his driver was. He said he was suffering from just a little bit of everything. A driver's worst nightmare if you're a little loose in with a little understeer in the middle. That's a nice 27 stop there. Kevin.
All the way at the exit of pit lane, Alex Palou comes in, complaining a little bit of understeer. Fell back a little bit. They're going to make a front wing adjustment, have to go back to the air jack, and the car rolls while the outside front is still making that change. Marcus Ericsson also rolling down pit lane. As you might suspect, he wants no changes right now. Ericsson has always loved these types of racetracks. Hasn't had a breakthrough on a short oval yet. Maybe it is here tonight. Let's see what they can do on this stop.
Good stop, good stop.
Cruise away.
Good stop coming through then. And now it's going to be Scott Dixon, who has taken over the lead of the race on our first of the green flag pit stops. Palou is under attack already now from David Malukas as they fly in towards the first corner. This is where we're going to have to start, getting out your fingers and counting exactly how many groups have stopped, how many have yet to stop, what the gaps are between those who have already stopped and who needs to be racing for position. This was Palou's stop once again. Taking a look at it. Front tyres off, aero screen 2 off, a lot of fuel going in as well. And it was a smooth stop, little twitch to the front wing, and away he went.
The wing change. And Marcus Ericsson doing such a great job on that exchange. And here comes Newgarden around lap traffic.
Newgarden's got the tow from Nolan Siegel to try to take some of that speed and take the fight back
More
to
in.
Marcus Ericsson ahead.
Caution's out, got a caution, yellow, yellow, yellow. Why is that happening? Dixon's in, Simpson's in, that's going to come at the wrong time. And that's on the inside, that is Palou getting through. Palou hit contact and the McLaren's in the wall. Oh, Palou's going to get a penalty for that because he sent the McLaren into the wall.
So much room.
That's Nolan Siegel out of the race. sent off into the first corner. We're trying to hear his radio. Alex Palou trying to go down low into one, touches Nolan Siegel, and Siegel goes straight into the barrier. Well, that's going to be a penalty for Palou, 100%. On the inside line, turns in. He's already through. He could argue that Siegel turned into him, but Palou was going for a move. Here's the onboard. Siegel turns in. No, that's Power. Siegel turns in. That's on Palou. Palou was just dive bombs on the inside, and Siegel goes into the barrier. Sorry, but that is Palou. He might get a penalty for that. That might change tonight's race as well. Caution out. Tom Gamemore, down to you.
Big contact for Nolan Siegel, and right after the pit stop sequence for all the runners, and that was full send from Alex Palou. I heard the Fox team saying, will he get a penalty? I don't quite think it'll be a penalty, but of course we have the new officiating board with IndyCar. They will be explaining their penalties if there is one after the race, so let's wait and see. I'll keep an eye on race control as Nolan Siegel climbs out of that stricken Arrow McLaren car, and it's the first caution under lights here at Gateway. It is the papaya of Siegel. Dennis Hauger didn't start this race. Nolan Siegel is the first retirement. And for those that were wondering whether or not we'd have a first run of yellow pit stops, well, we got them all done under green. I just want to keep an eye on where Scott Dixon was when he pitted there. And if anyone will stop again to top up on fuel. I mentioned Scott Dixon. He was the one that was staying out. Won it a few years ago here in 2023, stopping 3 times. The master of the fuel save was going long. I don't think he has been compromised here, though. I think Scott Dixon did get into pit lane and stopped. He's running in 4th place at the moment, but that was an aggressive move from Alex Palou. We'll have to wait and see if there is any comeback from that. Sweepers are out, and they are sweeping that high line. You'll see that as the race goes on. It's a trend here at Gateway. Try and keep that high line clean so the likes of Christian Rasmussen can exploit it. Anybody else who fancies that? And how busy is Joseph Newgarden looking behind the wheel of that Team Penske machine? He is an absolute master here. 5 wins around this Gateway circuit. Team Penske, more wins than anybody else as well. They've won 9 times here at Worldwide Technology Raceway. Joseph Newgarden has 5 of those, and he was unlucky last year. Don't forget, he ended his night upside down after that contact with Louis Foster on the front stretch. That was a very scary incident. He'll be hoping for better luck today. At the moment, he's holed up behind the Andretti of Marcus Ericsson, who's also looking really strong. Can it be his night?
The pits are open. Who's going to come in as we're under the caution?
Some nationally liveried overalls, paying tribute to their home teams for the World Cup. Some adept with the football, others not quite so much. Nice champ car vibes for Will Powell.
Aussie Vineyards. Look at Newgarden.
Joseph Newgarden doesn't dare kick the ball, not with his busted up foot that he's got.
That's pretty cool.
Very cool. Very, very cool. Right, 60 of 260 is done. Ericsson is your leader. Dixon did manage to get in just before the pits closed and finds himself 4th. So brilliant move up the field from him. So it's Ericsson from Newgarden. Palou's dropped down to 3rd, and we think may have some damage on the side of his car. His teammate Scott Dixon is 4th. Then it's Malukas and Kirkwood, McLaughlin and O'Ward, Rasmussen and Rosenquist, the top 10.
Saw several cars run over what I believe is the right front suspension wishbone from the crash car of Nolan Siegel. We know Will Power had some contact there. There'll probably be a lot of radio communication with drivers and teams kind of assessing whether or not they think they took some damage here, as Ericsson is clutching and coasting, getting the best fuel mileage he can into this caution.
Well, let's take a look at the power performance sponsored by Harbour Freight, and it is, of course, this man, Marcus Ericsson. 11 positions gained from the start, has led 10 laps, and is doing a frankly phenomenal job tonight. Palou is third, but had contact with Nolan Siegel. Kevin, what do you know? What are you hearing?
I've been listening intently and no signs of distress. I asked Barry Wanzer. The strategy said the car is fine. No concerns. Georgia.
Yeah, you guys were talking about damaged cars. I caught up with the 2 team of Newgarden just before he jumped in, and they told me they actually found damaged bodywork on the 2 car after the Highline practice yesterday. Fixed that, and obviously this is the first time they've been on the track since, with higher hopes that the car would handle better than how it was yesterday. But Newgarden seems to be happy, just like I said, a little heavy on that right rear right now.
Joseph Newgarden won at Phoenix earlier this year, the last time we were on a short oval. And guys, here, Newgarden has always been phenomenal. We're getting a replay, though.
Just wanted to take a look here, Will, of the contact. I think it was left front to right rear, tire to tire. Indeed, it was. I mean, it was a hard enough hit to break the steering arm, I think, for Nolan Siegel. We understand race control has reviewed this and determined no action necessary from the governance stand.
Yeah, well, the pace car lights are out, so we're getting ready for a restart, and it's going to be Mark, and that's Will Power coming down pit lane, actually. So Power's down pit road. That's going to take a little bit of time to get a restart on. Right, here we go then. What have we got to deliver? Ericsson, Newgarden, Palou, then it's Dixon. Watch out then, Malukas, Kirkwood, and Scotty Mack. Into the restart zone. We are racing again here for the St. Louis 500 at the Bommarito Automotive Group 500 at Worldwide Technology Raceway. And down the inside, Newgarden immediately goes side by side, very close alongside as well with Ericsson. Ericsson just holds around the outside. They were millimeters from making contact. Newgarden really was putting a lot of trust in the pair of them not to come together there. Rasmussen ahead of McLaughlin for 8th and 9th positions. Palou stays 3rd. Malukas is P4. Dixon P5. As they come over the line, Ericsson is your leader, but he's out of hybrid boost. He's recharging it now as they come through once more, side by side. That is Rasmussen getting ahead of Kyle Collette. Scott McLaughlin's in there. McLaren's are dropping back. That's Schumacher under attack now as well from Grosjean. So former teammates now are side by side. That's a comical thing, isn't it, as well? Schumacher and Grosjean fighting in as Kirkwood P5 holding on now on the board. Ericsson, Newgarden, Palou, Malukas, Kirkwood top 5, Dixon, Collette, Rasmussen, McLaughlin, Rosenquist the 10. That's Pato O'Ward in a bit of trouble as well in the midfield, trying to find some traction. Lundgaard holding off from Alexander Rossi. Dixon, where's he? 5th. Kyle Collette behind. As we ride on board with our race leader, Marcus Ericsson. Briefly, that was, whilst we look further back as the McLaren's trying to have a little bit of a traction zone to get through. Well, this is the replay. Marcus Ericsson, millimeters around the outside of Joseph Newgarden, but he made the move stick, and it was a beautiful attack and a very beautiful race to go on the defensive for. A lot of action, a lot of standpoint coming, and that was about as near perfection as you're going to get from an IndyCar restart in 2026. Newgarden on the inside, nearly touching, and Ericsson, oh, they did touch! They did touch. Excellent turn 2 onto the backstretch. Ericsson's rear tyre touched the front right end plate of Newgarden. Well, that's just impressive as we go battle screen once more. How close do you want to be? So, coming on to lap 70 shortly. Schumacher under attack from Kyle Collette. Collette's on the inside line at turn 1. Schumacher in the middle lane, giving him enough room. Collette's going to hold that inside line on the way down towards turn 3. Schumacher wants to find a way through and slips on the inside. Schumacher can't do it. Collette goes through and clears him.
That highlight is working great as well. Caio Collet does get the move done on Mick Schumacher, the 24-year-old from Sao Paulo, Brazil, defending now from the German. Down to Jack on pit lane.
Actually, Will, I'm by the IndyCar medical unit. Nolan, firstly, we're glad to see you're okay. Did you think you had left enough room to avoid an incident there?
I thought so. Look, I haven't seen it. I thought that there was a lot of room down low. I don't know if he wanted to run high through the corner or what, and was just, but, you know, you've got to turn in at some point. So I thought that there was enough room, but again, I don't want to say anything until I've seen it.
Well, thank you, Nolan. What did I think?
Put you on the spot.
I don't know, man. You already said it. At some point, someone's got to come down. He may be wanting to. Better looking Road America.
Thanks.
That's nice.
VK and Christian Rasmussen having a lovely fight out there. Rasmussen is 9th. VK is 8th. Very much in contention for the big positions today, these two.
And an interesting dynamic here, because it was really Christian Rasmussen that replaced Rinus VK at Ed Carpenter Racing.
Foster came into the pit lane, just to let you know, and through his car, so that's why it's happened.
Now VK is off to Hukos Hollinger, doing a great job, and rumored to be in the spotlight for a potential big team opportunity like Ganassi or Andretti in the future. So pretty interesting that role that second Ed Carpenter Racing seat has played for young, hot talent to show their stuff in IndyCar.
And Rasmussen came in here, as we mentioned at the top of the show, with a new contract, an extension. He'll be staying at ECR. You actually roll the clock back 12 months, guys. This was really a statement race for Christian Rasmussen. Got himself up on the podium with some incredible driving, some really spectacular moves. But right now, it's all these two up front.
It was Rasmussen's first ever podium in IndyCar here last year. It's where we started to figure out he might be something rather special on the ovals, and began to take that moniker of the Sultan of Sketch. And how close he likes to race, and how aggressively he likes to race. But what about this? The rookie, Caio Collet, taking the fight to the 6-time champion, one of the greatest of all time, Scott Dixon, ahead of him. Impressive. Once again, Caio Collet running high and putting the 6-time champ under massive pressure. The Brazilian fights.
So much action happening right now. 75 of 260, 185 to go. Already 40 minutes in.
On board with the PNC Bank Chip Ganassi machine of Scott Dixon. He's got the rookie Caio Collet with those broken ribs after that big crash last time we were on an oval at Indianapolis. And Caio Collet looking very, very strong. What a performance this is so far from the young Brazilian. He's highly rated. We saw that at Indianapolis, and he looks very, very comfortable on the ovals in that Foyt machine, and actually almost taking the limelight away from Ferrucci, because it's Ferrucci who's looked the man to beat when it comes to Foyt and the ovals. But Caio Collet looking very comfortable, and now he's sizing up Scott Dixon, who is a winner around this Gateway circuit, and find a way past it. This is, to the untrained eye, where the top drivers now start to earn their money, just poking the wing out there. You can just see Caio Collet just on the entry there, just trying to maximize the clean air over the right-hand side of the wing, and he's done that spectacularly, and that has given him the run, and now he makes the move into 3. Now that was real textbook stuff from Caio Collet in terms of how you master an oval, the strategy, but mainly the tactics of where you place your car, where you place that front wing to give you that advantage. And he looks very comfortable running that high line through 1 and 2. And Scott Dixon, who was the last of the stoppers, not looking that comfortable at this stage of the stint. And Rinus VK's the next car, the Junkers Hollinger machine, queuing up behind Scott Dixon at this stage. Don't forget, Dixon having won here twice. Newgarden's won 5 times, Dixon twice. Will Power and Kirkwood, your other winners as VK now trying to go around the outside, around 3 and 4. Is that going to work? They've swept the track, and he's hung on in there, and that's given him the momentum down the front stretch, and I think he's going to get this move done down into turn 1. He does.
Yeah.
And Dixon loses another spot as Caio Collet and Rinus VeeKay move up to 6th and 7th. 81 laps completed of 260. Marcus Ericsson looking comfortable out front. Joseph Newgarden, having not made that pass at the restart, just keeping his powder dry. He knows that his chance and opportunity will come later on in this second stint.
82 of 260. We are 42 minutes in to this race, and we have had quite a bit of action already. What a night's racing here. Now, latest update on the rain is that we're still about an hour away from the rain arriving. We should be able to get the race done by then. Another factor is just be careful in around about half an hour. We might be having some moisture drops coming through. Now, it's a 260 lap race, which means half distance is lap 130. If we get past lap 130, the race is official. So that's what we're trying to get to now. It's on 84. So we're racing to lap 130, then anything else is a bonus, because that weather is coming at some point tonight. We're hopeful we'll get the race in, but there could be some moisture in the air. Let's run through the order for those of you listening around the world. It's Ericsson from Newgarden, Palou, Malukas, Kirkwood, Collet, VeeKay, Dixon, Rasmussen, McLaughlin. That's your top 10. O'Ward, Rosenquist, Lundgaard, Rossi, Ferrucci, Armstrong, Rahal, Power, Grosjean, Schumacher, Stingray, Robb, Simpson, Foster, Siegel and Hauger. That's your 25 as well. Hauger not starting this race after an issue was detected in the pre-race. So he, unfortunately, did not start here tonight. And still they are attacking through as we take a look around the outside. As amazing, another great manoeuvre coming in as well from Graham Rahal passing the back of Will Power. Caio Collet's up 14 places for where he started. Ericsson's up 11. Rasmussen 10. Newgarden and VeeKay both up 6 places. This is lap 86 of 260. So 174 to go. And that's, we're done 86 laps in 4th. We'll do about in 45 minutes we'll do 90 laps. So 130, then we'll see 180 coming around about 90 minutes. So it kind of gets there quite easily.
Kevin, what do you know about our full-time champion?
Well, you know, Alex Palou is always analyzing things. He was asking, what is Marcus Ericsson doing? And the conversation between the pit stand and the spotter was first, he's running the same line as you, and then it's actually Ericsson is about a half line higher in spaces. Alex Palou taking all this in to try to strategize what he can do to try to continue to work his way forward.
As Alex Palou goes to put Will Power a lap down. Power had to come into the pits. We thought it was to check for some damage to the car after he ran over that suspension part from Nolan Siegel's car. Apparently it was just to top off with a bit more fuel. The only hope Will Power has now is that he can run a little bit longer than everybody else. And it starts to rain, and he finds himself out there if the race is called at half distance.
Interesting point, as we know weather will be in the area at some point over the next several hours as Alex Palou continues to work on Power. But you know, with that contact earlier with Nolan Siegel, you saw Palou get a little wiggle there off turn 2. One of the things that could have resulted from that contact was knocking the rear toe out of alignment. And that's not something that you can fix easily on pit lane. We take a look at our Dallara cutaway car. Up front, toe is adjusted through the toe link or the steering arms that both turn the wheels and can also be adjusted with this nut, changing the threading and changing basically like being pigeon-toed or toe out as you stand and look at yourself in the mirror at the back of the race car. Instead of threaded rod ends, there are now shims that are basically like spacers that adjust that toe link at the back. For Alex Palou, though, they would have to make a wing change if he has it in balance. This would take far too long on pit lane, would not pay off even under caution.
So that's the deal we've got. As we've got to 90 laps inside 45 minutes. That was with one caution, so we'll knock off about 5 minutes. So That's 180 laps complete inside 90 minutes in total to try and work that one out. We're running now at 26s on their lap, 27s now. We're racing to lap 130. We're at lap 92. The rain is coming in the next half hour, so that could be a call-off. Ericsson, Newgarden, and Paloma, Lucas, Kirkwood, your top 5 as we go to ad break, as we approach lap 100. Let's check in with Tom Gaymore from Sky F1.
Calm before the storm, and there is a bit of rain when we talk of the storm coming later, maybe even in half an hour, spots of rain, but looks like the main bulk of that could be an hour or so away, and that is why we moved the start up as we're on board with the Java House machine, looking very, very racy again, as it so often does. Christian Rasmussen, such a master on the short ovals. Well done to everyone who stayed up in the UK. Nye got in touch watching on Jimmy Broadbent's Discord. Hello to everyone there. Lem, also Zoe, Aaron Batt, Leon Plotner. Lots of you staying up, so thanks for your messages. Thanks for getting in touch and for your support as well. At Tom Gaymore on X or Instagram. Lindsay stayed up. Alan didn't like that move that Palou put on Nolan Siegel. No further action from race control. And yeah, Nolan Siegel saying I had to get down at some point. And what he's saying there is if he just drives on into turn 1, there's so many marbles up there, he's going in the fence anyway. So he's saying that maybe Palou just could have got in there earlier just to give him a chance out high. But Palou probably thought that Nolan was going to give that up earlier than he did. On board with the Sam's Club Andretti machine of Carl Kirkwood. 60-odd points now the difference between Alex Palou and Carl Kirkwood in the championship standings. But Palou hasn't had it all his own way here. 97 laps of 260 completed, 131 will tick us over halfway, and we're approaching, of course, our next round of pit stops. 45 laps since the leaders stopped. We will be pushing to over 50 laps again. They're trying to do this on 4 stops. So moments away from the second round of pit stops. Will it be a green flag run of pit stops, or will we see a yellow? So often at the end of the stint, you start to see that sequence play out. And of course, the longer we stay green without the sweepers out, the more the marbles build as well. So Ericsson it is who leads from Newgarden. Palou in third. Malukas making it 2 Penske's in the top 4, with Carl Kirkwood in 5th. And as I said again, Caio Collet, the rookie, in 6th place. What a run for the Brazilian.
What a run indeed, as Marcus Ericsson then has the advantage at the front. We have now reached lap 100, everybody. Well done. Inside 50 minutes, which means to get to lap 200, it'll take 1 hour 40. So will we have that? I don't know on the clock. It's going to get quite difficult now, but we've got another 20 minutes, no, another 10 minutes to get another 20 laps in. So yeah, we might just break half distance over an hour. Jack Harvey.
Our Will Cutter with Dave O'Neill, the strategist for Rinus VK. He said he is so dialed in. He's so happy with his race car, and it clearly shows. Just one fun fact for everybody. Rinus has had 4 top 10s here, so he's having a great day. But this is not new territory for Rocket Rinus here in St. Louis.
Rocket Rinus is right. What a day he's having.
I feel like Jack's just trying to stick a nickname on someone else since we stuck one on him.
Hollywood
Look
Harvey.
at that. Colette up 14, Rasmussen up 11, VK up 6, Ericsson up 11, Newgarden up 6. I'm liking the way this race is going.
Yeah, but Caio Collet's up 14 places where he started the most of anybody in this entire field, running in P6, as Tom Gaymore said. So they're still in the battle right now. Ericsson from Newgarden, Palou, Malukas, Kirkwood, as we ride on board with the race leader, attacking 3 and 4 before coming over the line now. Lap 103 on the board, 158 to go. Armstrong gets Ferrucci for 15th place, we've just been told as well. We're seeing that side by side as they get through around it. Ferrucci losing out. Armstrong makes the maneuver with a super duper attack. And that is a lot more like it. It's a strategy-based race, this, isn't it? You're racing the weather. You're racing to half distance, trying to find the right solutions. It's a difficult day to be a strategist. It's a difficult day to be a race winner. Who's going to rise to the occasion? Ferrucci goes way wide and loses out as Ericsson and Newgarden lap him. But Ferrucci did lose a little bit more traction out there on the circuit, just drifting up wide. Let's listen in on board. Oh, is there a black line approaching on the circuit right now? No, that's not a crack or anything, but it's just the marbles that we're witnessing now on the top line. It's a short circuit here at Gateway, and that is what we worry about. If it becomes the negative and somebody gets on those marbles and runs into the wall, we are running towards a green flag pit stop in a few moments as we take a replay now on board.
Essentially what these drivers are driving on as we take a replay here of that move. Graham just pretty aggressively cutting down on Ferrucci.
I think they might have just touched their front wing of Santino. Ferrucci, I think, might have just clipped it. Scary stuff if you're Ferrucci. He did a good job to back out of the pedals and hang on and keep his eyes looking down the road.
Great job to hang on to it, but usually you try to leave the car you're passing a tiny bit of room.
So now we're in the window, lap 106. As we ride on board Graham Rahal with the one cure cam. Cars should be coming to pit lane any second.
And Malukas gets his way past Louis Foster, and this is important because behind Malukas is Kyle Kirkwood. Kirkwood has to go around the outside, and VK has got past Kaio Colette. Joseph Newgarden, though, is on pit lane.
Right, pit road's open.
Yeah, this team has been on and on pit stops. They're second in the standings when it comes to pit stop performance, but it's a delayed pit stop for him. They had to lift it back up to make sure that front tire was tight. He's down in
Uncharacteristic mistake. You just talked about Joseph Newgarden's confidence in his team on pit lane as the 12 dives into pit lane now. What does the 28 do? How does Ericsson reply? We see Malukas in, but that slow stop is definitely going to help the 28. But now Malukas coming to you, G.
David Malukas on pit lane as well. He wants a better stop than of his teammate Joseph Newgarden. 4 tires and fuel for him. He said he wants more crossweight in this car right now. You see that turn of front wing, he's down.
Yeah, they took an extra second there to really crank in the front wing. That means David Malukas is struggling with understeer, hoping for more front downforce.
Great stop from Hunkos. That's Rinus VK.
VK side by side right now, coming out of the pit lane with David Malukas. That was a side by side stop. Junkos Hollinger Racing will get them out, and on the pit road they're side by side, and he's gone out ahead. Wow! Well, this is turning the race around because now Malukas going to try and pass him on the circuit. In now comes Marcus Ericsson. He's out side by side right now as well. At the same time, VK's under attack. They're all over the place right now.
Out on track, Rinus VK keeps the position over David Malukas as they get their tyres up to temperature. Alex Palou now on pit lane to take his stop, and Kevin, once again, the champion is coming towards you.
And this could become an advantage because we hear there is rain in the area within 30 minutes. So we'll be past the half point by the next time we stop. As Palou hits his marks from pit out, it might come down to who can go the longest. If the rain were to come and you're still in front, who can get the win?
Slight delay once again for Alex Palou. Not a perfect stop.
Yeah, not a perfect stop. Grosjean coming in, so we've got rain in the area. Within 30 minutes, this is going to change the race completely. If we does get past 1:31, we might just have to call this race over in the next half an hour.
Wood, as Palou blends out, there goes Rasmussen.
Award and Armstrong in.
Colette is the race leader. He's stayed out on track, getting some clean air, trying to pump in the quick laps before he takes his stop. Palou is out ahead of Kirkwood. Kirkwood's out ahead of Rinus VK. That is the order behind. There is Palou in the Honda. Behind him in the Sam's Club car is Kyle Kirkwood and then Rinus VK.
What a great sequence for Rinus VK under green flag conditions, ahead of Malukas now, right on the tail of Kirkwood. brilliant stuff.
But guys, Ericsson's the one that's still come out the best of the bunch. That slower stop from both the 10.
And somehow, through it all, if I'm looking at
Kyle Collette is the leader! Kyle Collette leads!
Actually ahead of all of them on the track.
I think you're right.
Rasmussen's done 2 stops.
Rasmussen has done 2 stops. Hang on. Yes, he has. Yes, Rasmussen's done 2 stops. Right, but hang on a minute. There's so many others that have done 2 stops, including Graham Rahal. And out comes the full course caution. Oh my word! Who's leading this race? The cautions come out at the wrong time. This is ludicrous right now here. Wow! So that's Ferrucci going to leave the pit lane. The tyre gets out. Why is the full course yellow out?
Got a caution, guys. We got a caution in turn 4.
Oh, big accident! It's Rahal. Rahal is backwards and is out of the race. Down in turn 4, rear left suspension has come up onto the car. He's gone in backwards. The AMR safety crew is there, and Graham Rahal is out here at Gateway. And this is going to completely change the race. Now we are fighting to 1:30, and we are fighting now the weather. This has changed the race. Second caution of the night, Graham Rahal is out of the car and okay. This is what happened, listen in. Gets loose, swings it around, locked up and off. Just a harmless little hit. But that was the caution and that's all it's taken.
This time not able to get in before the caution comes out. Very square hit. Those ones hurt, T-Bell. Not as much of a crash structure. The attenuator's back there. That's going to absorb a lot, as does the safer barrier. Great view of it all from Lundgaard.
Wow.
So unnerving.
Chil Graham last pitting on lap 61, so he's on very old tires there. And a big rear impact. And we're lap 115, so 130 is official distance, as Kevin already reported. Rain potentially coming.
Scott Dixon leads, caught out this time by the full course yellow. Then it's Power and Ericsson, you got it, and Kyle Collette.
Well, that was a strange accident for Graham Rahal, and just shows the sort of struggle and imbalance in the Rahal Letterman Lanigan machine. Louis Foster struggling moments before he pitted, and then Graham Rahal just closing the line off and entering the corner. Didn't really stand a chance on entry with the balance of that car. Very, very early on, the rear started to rotate round. That would have caught him out, but no grip at all into 3. And the result is that Rahal Letterman Lanigan machine looking very second-hand in the barriers. It brings out another caution. That's caught out Scott Dixon. He was going long. Everyone else has stopped. He is now at the head of the snake, but he's only stopped once. He needs to stop again. 62 laps since his last stop. And then in second place, you've got Will Power, who's an anomaly because he is on an alternate strategy. He has stopped twice because he brimmed, came in again to fill up earlier on. So he's 55 laps since his last stop. And then on the primary strategy, it's Marcus Ericsson with Joseph Newgarden in second. Kyle Collette up to third with Christian Rasmussen running just behind him in fourth. They're fifth and sixth on the road respectively. But Kyle Collette, I've said it before, I'll say it again, this is a great performance from him. He's got Marcus Ericsson and Joseph Newgarden ahead of him, both Indy 500 winners, and Joseph Newgarden the most successful driver of all time around this circuit with those 5 wins. Kyle Collette is in good company. Newgarden and Penske, well, they came in because the undercut's so powerful and then had that slow stop. If you're wondering what's happened to Malukas, well, he's dropped back. He's behind BK now, who's in turn behind Kirkwood, who in turn is behind Palou, who got beaten out by Rasmussen. So Malukas with a slow stop. Most unlike Penske there, a slow Newgarden stop, a slow Penske stop, and you can just see on these short ovals when the margins are so slight, those small delays, well, they play a big part in terms of on-track position. Scott Dixon behind the safety car, compromised now by that yellow. And as we so often say at the end of a stint around the pit stop sequence, as T. Bell was saying, that is
Clear. What a good job. Shot off me. That was good. You handled that well, bud. Nice job. Peggy, shut up. I don't need that.
Oh, I don't need the boost. I don't need to be congratulated. I know what I'm doing. I know how to get the score done. So just leave me alone. I know what I'm doing. Lap 120 of 260. 140 to go. We're approaching half distance. Rain in the air. We're behind the caution.
Ahead of Newgarden, behind only Ericsson on track, because Power is on an alternate strategy and Dixon is coming into pit lane right now. Down to Kevin on pit lane.
And that play for Will Power by coming in to top up worked out. He was a lap down. Now he's going to be back up near the front as we see Scott Dixon, who is in danger of needing emergency service. Massive save. He was about to pit before the caution came out, but he's still in play as he has been all night. He comes in. We're eventually going to see Power as well, but he wasn't as tight on fuel. And now Power will come down.
Power's in.
Dixon is out. Here's Power. He wants to take out a little bit of front wing to make the car better. It hasn't been good enough so far, but now, after thinking he might be out of the game, finally a break goes Will Power's way, and he's back in play.
Was on pit lane when the yellow came out, so I went over to Larry Foy right when it happened. I said, is this going to help or hurt you? And he said, well, we're just going to have to let it shake out, but so far it's helped him. It's been a beautiful race for Kaio so far. Starting 20th, he told me that Kaio has been fuel saving this whole time. He's very happy with this car, but running a little bit higher than he would like, it's making him a little nervous.
Fuel saving with the moves he's been pulling off today. Kaio Colette with one of the drives of the evening. He's second on merit. Ericsson leads.
Well, every time Scott Dixon hits the front, a caution comes out. 122 laps of 260. We need 130 for halfway. When was the last rain-shortened race on an oval? I have to go back a long time ago. Not saying that's going to happen, but we know there is rain coming as we start to look on board. Love the clear visor. Night race here, obviously. Drivers electing for the clear visor. You can see their eyes and the focus and the face underneath that helmet for the first time in a while, because normally they're running tinted visors. We don't get to see the intent and the concentration on those eyes. Well, it is living up to expectations here. Gateway, 1.25 miles, a short oval under lights, and it's been a spectacle so far, from the pyrotechnics at the beginning to the racing that we've seen. Drivers having to work hard for their money tonight, and there is a real spectrum of performance out there as well, between the drivers that have confidence, the cars that have the balance, and the drivers that are struggling, and the cars that don't quite have the performance of some of the other machines around them. It is a real struggle bus when you're on an oval like this and it's not working out for you, and you don't feel that you've got a car that works. It is a horrible, horrible feeling. What's happened there to Kiffin Simpson? Going very slowly indeed. Looks like he's going to ground to a complete stop.
Oh, Kiffin Simpson, ouch.
On that camera angle, it doesn't look very encouraging at all. We've got sweepers out on the track. The field is going around behind the safety car, and Kiffin Simpson is poodling around on the inside of the apron there. I think he's trying to get that car back.
Yeah, he's stopping, Tom. This is going to extend the caution.
With the Chip Ganassi Honda of Kiffin Simpson. And that is going to keep the caution out, because I'm pretty sure that car is going to grind to a halt just on the pit lane entrance. I think he's going to need a little bit of a bump draft there from one of the AMR safety crew. It's almost going. It may just be on some kind of hybrid power. Here comes the AMR safety crew. I think they're going to tow him into pit lane, and that will keep the caution out for that bit longer as the drivers keep clutching it and trying to get that fuel mileage.
It has been an explosive night here in St. Louis. Kevin Simpson is being pushed back on pit lane after he seemingly ran out of fuel out on track. Last lap that he came in on pit lane was 54. Georgia, though, I believe, has an update on exactly what has gone wrong for Kevin Simpson.
Yes, well, he ran out of fuel. There were too many laps under yellow before the pits opened. So Kevin Simpson, the 8 car, out of fuel.
Bizarre, given that his teammate stopped a lap ago. But there we are. There we have it. Kevin Simpson out of this. Welcome back to the NTT IndyCar Series, live from St. Louis on Fox with Bill Buxton, James Hinchcliffe, Townsend Bell. Boys, what an order we have as we roll back to green at some point. Marcus Ericsson, who has driven sublimely all night. Then it is rookie Kyle Collette who sits second. Scott Dixon sits third. Then Newgarden, Power, Rasmussen, Palou, Kirkwood, VK and Malukas. That's your top 10. We're not even at half distance yet. There's rain in the clouds rolling in. And Jack is with Graham Rahal.
I am. We've already started to dissect exactly what happened. Graham, firstly, glad to see you're okay. You started to tell everybody what happened.
No, I mean, Lundgaard was on, I think it was Christian was on fresh tires, went to my outside, and, you know, I just wanted to stay one lane in because, you know, I was going to pit in 3 or 4 laps, so I was trying to just not lose that couple seconds that you lose in track position. When I went in, man, it must have been way more marbly on the inside than I expected, and she went straight around. So, you know, I'm bummed for everybody on the 15, OneCare, and all of our partners, because actually we had gotten the car in a good window there, and we were going good. We just needed the track position, and I mean, these things happen. It's quite frustrating, though.
Sorry, man. Better luck in Road America.
And there is Kevin Simpson getting out of his car. Day done. Shakes his head. The disappointment clear to see. One guy who is just having a brilliant evening is this man, Marcus Ericsson. What a brilliant race. Started 12th, leads. Kevin, Marcus Ericsson is having quite the night in St. Louis.
And remember, he's another driver like Felix Rosenqvist, who won the Indianapolis 500, that does not have a contract for next year. So a win might go a long way towards his future. He was just told this restart is mega important. Why? Because some teams think it's going to rain in the next 10 minutes.
Wow.
So you make sure you're in front right now. The race could be over any time from get past lap 131.
Well,
so the rain could be over soon.
Ericsson, the bear of...
It's starting to rain! Raindrops are starting to fall! I am not joking you, it is starting to rain! Raindrops are starting to fall!
That is a disaster for Kevin Simpson. It was fuel in the end. I was thinking a mechanical problem because, okay, they were running it dry under yellows, but you just come in for the emergency service if you were that low on the fuel. But Kevin Simpson's day is done. It won't bother Marcus Ericsson, but this is now starting to be very strategic, because at this stage you need to be at the front if the rain comes. We're at the halfway mark, so if it was to be rained out after this lap, we would have a result, and it would be Marcus Ericsson who would be in victory lane. So you need to get to the front now. You need, after this restart, to be very, very aggressive, and I think that's what we're going to see, because people need to push to the front. That's what made that pit stop for Joseph Newgarden very, very important. Team Penske weren't quite on their marks. That has hurt Joseph Newgarden, and it's hurt the likes of David Malukas even more. Newgarden now down in fourth place. Kyle Collette there in second. Scott Dixon in third. Newgarden is one of the drivers with willpower to have made
we are not going
stops
green because of rain.
in the top 10. Fascinating play at hand here, because Joseph Newgarden has a full tank of fuel on that machine. 7 laps more than Dixon, than Collette, sorry, and 12
Come on, Tom,
laps
check
more
your
than
phone.
Ericsson. As I said, this is a real play, a power play here from Penske and Newgarden. Have they timed it right? Will he filter to the front when others
It's starting to
have
rain drops
stop?
now.
Will the rain come before then or after?
It's now.
Lots of questions.
We're past lap 130. We are past half distance and it's starting to rain.
And there is lots to play for here, and it is starting to hot up in terms of who is on what strategy and who is tactically gonna win this battle, as well as being on the racetrack, putting those moves on other drivers to make sure they're in the driving seat when the rain does come.
Marcus Ericsson leads, a 35-year-old from Kumla, Sweden. We have just crossed over the halfway point of this race, meaning that if the weather arrives now and we call the race, it is done, and Ericsson is declared the winner.
And look at that, Ericsson's wife is saying, come on, it's raining, it's time to rain. There are raindrops around the area, so it looks like we're going to get to halfway, and then now the rain has hit, and that is crazy timing.
Takes the victory here tonight. If it does end, if we do get rain, Kyle Collette sits second, Scott Dixon sits third. That would be your podium. There is rain in the area. We have heard some reports of some light drops around the track, but nothing yet that would indicate that we are about to call this thing to an early conclusion.
Well, let's take a look at the radar here, because it is ominous as the green monster approaches from the south there. You can see right where the pin drop is.
Got some news coming in as well. This is from Race Control and their media. All right, everybody, we're feeling light raindrops. Some at the start stand, some on the backstretch. We're going to stay here for a moment, Race Control.
Has earned the lead of this thing tonight. A brilliant drive. The best driver so far, but rain has held off to this point. We'll have to see if we get a restart.
I wonder what I was talking about in the last segment there. Marcus's middle name is Torbjorn, which is Swedish for
biggest mover.
Wow, thunder, either Thunder Bear or the Bear of Thor, the god of thunder.
They're going to say Thunder Buddy.
Nope, Thunder Bear. That is Marcus's middle name.
Thunder Buddy.
He's led 70 of the laps so far, more than anybody else.
Look at the raindrops here.
Yeah, it's starting to get heavier now. The rain is starting to get heavier out here. So I reckon if we end up having a red flag, the race will be over, which is a disappointment, but the Bommarito Automotive Group 500 could become the Bommarito Automotive Group 250.
The Pit Crew Spotlight, sponsored by Endurance.
Well, the team who I think has been so impressive, the 76 Juncos Hollinger Racing, we give so much props, so much credit to Rinus VeeKay, but he and his team are fourth. And you don't want to be the little team that could, you just want to be the team that did. And his team, the complete team, have been doing such a fantastic job catapulting their driver right to the front.
Very true, Jack. Very, very true. Great to spotlight that. VeeKay, ninth place in the race today. We saw how brilliant their stop was that got him out ahead of David Malukas out on track. He says fourth, I believe, fourth fastest overall for the pit stop times for this season. So a brilliant job by the gang down there at JHR.
That is an umbrella for Marcus Ericsson's wife, and I don't know if that's being overly optimistic, but it sure looks like the drops are coming, as IndyCar has elected to put a safety car, I believe, out behind the field to do a track inspection as well.
Okay.
And you can still see the moisture streaking to the side of Ericsson's windscreen.
So they say, this is latest from Race Control. Red flag! The red flag is out! And that is it! That is it. The red flag is out. The race is stopped on lap 137 of 260. We tried to beat the rain. We've gone past half distance, and that looks to be the end of the 10th annual Bommarito Automotive Green 500. It will end with Marcus Ericsson as the race winner. And the race is official. Full points will be allocated to this event. Red flag, is that checkered flag though? That's your question. It's just at the moment, command red.
Well, as we are under red, the crowds go to take cover. And we will take a moment and return to St. Louis.
Mr. Gatemore, over to you.
Hot, humid conditions here at Gateway, but there's some liquid sunshine, as the Brits would call it. And yes, rain has stopped play. And the red flag is out. The halfway mark has ticked past, so this would be a result if we were to not quite get going. This is the first ban. There's light moisture in the air, and then there's a
we can't race on ovals in rain, same as NASCAR rules.
Be game, set and match when that arrives, because that is a considerable deluge, a lot of rain, a considerable amount of rain, whereas this is the sort of light sprinkles. If you follow IndyCar Weatherman on X, well worth a follow. They were talking about this about 35 minutes ago. The light sprinkles have meant that cars are back in pit lane. Marcus Ericsson will have a wry smile on his face. Last time he won a race, 2023 St. Petersburg. So will tonight be the night that he gets his second podium for Andretti, his first win for Andretti? Let's wait and see. It will be a long time coming. And he's also been a driver that, when you talk of silly season, his name comes up with Dennis Hauger lurking in the wings, that kind of thing. This would be a very, very timely win for Marcus Ericsson if that was the case. And look who he's got behind him. Caio Collet, the sensational Brazilian rookie in terms of his performance in this race. And let's not forget what he did at Indianapolis as well. Okay, he had that big crash, but he was going very, very well indeed. Would have been the top finishing rookie there. Scott Dixon in third. Joseph Newgarden, well, nothing ventured, nothing gained. He was in second. He rolled the dice with that alternate strategy. May still come to his fruition if we get back going, but that's a big if. As I said before, more questions than answers at the moment. But the rain hasn't really come down. As you can see there are a few umbrellas in the pit lane, but you know, nothing to write home about, and that's encouraging. The track surface is really warm here. It's been a very, very hot couple of days in Madison, Illinois, and that means that any precipitation that falls on the racetrack will evaporate very, very quickly. As you can see, all the drivers in the car, the heat soak now for the drivers. Very, very hot in those machines. Very, very humid, very, very close. Saw just how hot Graham Rahal looked after his crash coming out the medical center, and for the drivers now in those cars, no airflow and the heat soak of all the engine around them. Yeah, it's a really horrible place to be sat. You just want to either get going or get out. It looks as though if the rain can hold off, we will get going again. As I said, there's a bigger deluge coming, but this is just the beginning. The spots of rain that have brought or held the caution out and have now brought the red flag out continue here at Gateway. A few of the mechanics, everyone having a good look at the sky to see what happens next. But you can see there on the helmets, down on pit lane. There's not much rain, but enough to hold the cars. And Indy cars, they just don't run in the rain at all. On the ovals, there is no room for any complacency around safety. So if there is any precipitation in the air, any rain, they will definitely call it. A few AMR cars on track for an inspection. Let's head back to the Fox team for an update.
It feels like a light sprinkling, and with any luck, we should be back to racing fairly soon. Your running order is Marcus Ericsson, Kaio Collet, and Scott Dixon, the top three. From Joseph Newgarden, Will Power has made his way up to fifth with a great strategy. Rasmussen is sixth, and Alex Palou from the pole down to seventh. Carl Kirkwood, last year's race winner, is eighth. Rinus VeeKay is ninth, and David Malukas, who started on the front row, down in 10th. Well, Marcus Ericsson's wife, Iris, has been doing something of a rain dance down on pit lane, I think. Kevin Lee is down on Ericsson's pit stand. Oh, he's with Iris. Oh, hello, Kev.
Of course.
Hi, Iris.
Yeah, a very interested bystander. So was that a rain dance? Would you prefer that we just go ahead and clear the stands for safety?
Honestly, to be completely honest, I don't care because he has the fastest car out there.
I like that. So I asked you, I was trying to recall how many of Marcus's wins you've been at. You've been a pretty good luck charm. Second race ever that you attended was what?
The Indy 500 2022 when Marcus he won.
That went pretty well. All right, how do you think he's feeling? Does he want to finish it up under green, or is a win, a win, a win, let's go home if it's going to rain?
I think he definitely want to finish it under the green. Look at him. Like, he's been so fast all day, so yeah, I definitely think he want to go green again.
I like that. No concern, no rain dance. Iris Ericsson is ready to see this race continue, to see if her man can finish it on the track.
I think that shows how well she knows her husband, doesn't it, really? Marcus wants to finish this thing under green. We all want to finish this thing under green. And she's absolutely spot on. He's had a great car underneath him today. He's driven absolutely beautiful. Guys, when we look back over Marcus's 130-odd laps of this race so far, started 12th, and right from the green was on the move.
Yeah, making bold moves, but just leaving enough space to his competitors. And then I think what is so great about the situation he's in is even if there's a restart and he gets shuffled back for some reason, he's got the experience of knowing the settings of his race car, whether he's running in traffic or running in clean air. But there would be no better way to find out what he's experiencing in the cockpit than trying to dial him up here, as I think Hinch is working on it.
Hinch is nodding. Well, we have spoken to him before when he's been sat under an umbrella, but he wasn't leading the race at the time.
See if we can dial him up. Hey, Marcus, it's Townsend up in the Fox Sports booth. You copy?
Yeah, copy it.
We just had a nice chat with your wife, Iris, and I got to tell you, she is happy to see raindrops and also more than happy to see the green flag. She is so proud of you and the job you've done tonight, charging through the field. How are you feeling from where you're sitting right now?
I wish we could do 500 laps. This Delaware Life Honda is on rails tonight, so just want to keep going, keep racing.
What do you think made you so good? I mean, in terms of qualifying position, you were mid-pack, but then all of a sudden with the drop of the green flag, you just carved up through the field. You look so strong in all conditions. Were you surprised by that, or did you expect it after practice?
It's been hard work, you know. I've been working hard, me and the team, the 28 crew and everyone, and especially before this race, studying a lot of hours, just trying to figure out how to be a bit stronger from all of us, and it seems to be paying off. I think we have a really good race car, so really enjoying it out there so far.
It was tight quarters with, what was it, Joseph Newgarden there on the outside of turn 2. Did you feel the contact that you guys had? It was his right front wing, I believe, to your left rear.
Yeah, I can feel it a little bit, but I know Joseph. We raced hard and fair, so I think that was as close as you wanted to be, but good racing.
Yeah, we got a fresh set of Firestones now, so if this goes back green, you should be in great shape. Thanks for talking to us. Best of luck. We'll see how this plays out.
Thanks, guys.
You know, you hear him talk about the hard work that he's been putting in behind the scenes, working with the team. One of the big contributors to that is this guy right here, Robert Wickens. He was an IndyCar driver, DTM driver, currently an IMSA driver, and he's joined this program as a bit of a driver coach, performance engineer, strategist, helper. He's kind of doing a little bit of everything, and there's so few people on earth that have the attention to detail, the demand for perfection that Robbie has. You know, I've been a friend of his almost my entire life, certainly my entire racing career, all the way back to karting days up in Canada, all the way up through being teammates here in IndyCar, and his just relentless pursuit of perfection is second to none, and he brings that to this role. And he's been telling me about the work that he's been putting in with Marcus, how receptive Marcus is to the suggestions and to the, you know, the kind of work that he's been asking of him, and it's really shown on the racetrack tonight.
And no better asset to have in your corner than Robert Wickens, because like Marcus Ericsson, Wickens raced for the first time in IndyCar with no prior oval experience. Just like Marcus Ericsson, who came from Formula One straight to IndyCar oval racing. Robert Wickens, in the 25 years that I've been involved in this sport, I've never seen somebody acclimate to oval racing faster than what Robert Wickens pulled off when he was James's teammate with the Schmidt-Peterson team. So to have that knowledge and expertise guiding Ericsson as he still is refining some of the nuances of his game, it's a very powerful package. It's great to see it paying off in a big way tonight.
Marcus came over from Formula One. Robbie came to IndyCar from the European system as well, had done some Formula One testing, had been racing in the DTM series, the German touring car series, so very similar sort of backgrounds in that sense. So to your point, no better person to really speak the language of a driver new to oval racing than Robbie DeMarcus, and it's great to see that combination is paying off. Not only what Robbie's able to contribute, but what Marcus is willing to listen to and then able to apply on track.
Been a great evening so far for Marcus Ericsson. Can he, Robert, the Andretti team, turn this into a victory? Hopefully we will find out under green conditions. There's a track that everybody loves as we hit the midway stage of the 2026 season. Not just because it's a wonderful track to race on, but also because they love a bit of pyro.
I stole some of this from my friends over at Eldora Speedway, Tony Stewart and those guys. They were doing some booms. I said, well, if they can do it, I can do it better.
Well, back in 2017, Chris Blair and John Vernier dreamed up this idea of creating a signature look at the Worldwide Technology Raceway, utilizing Fireball technology.
The cool thing about the IndyCar guys is they've embraced this. They love it. They get pumped up for it.
Holy man, I could feel it on the timing stand.
Yeah, well, yeah, that gets hotter every year.
That big burst, that big boom, it gets everybody pumped up.
Yeah, good thing you got a fire suit on in there. Yes, I felt it in here as well.
Each year for IndyCar, we're just trying to crank it up another notch. That's what we're going to do again this year.
Well, we're still under caution here. Well, a red flag to be precise, as we wait to see if the rain, and it's so frustrating because there's just that element of moisture in the air that just doesn't allow us to go racing, because as I said before, there is just no compromise when it comes to safety. One or two of you getting in touch on social media. Alan saying, can't see this being restarted, can hardly keep my eyes open. Everyone in the UK has done really well. 3:37 local time to stay up. Let's see what happens. And Ethan also getting in touch. Rising Electra says, well, that was fun whilst it lasted. Chances on this being restarted, or should I go back to bed? Well, your guess is as good as mine. I hope and I think we will get going again before the next wave comes in, but that is very much hope. I'm not a weatherman, and I am not basing that on fact, as you see the Team Penske crew looking up at the skies just to have a look now as to see whether or not anything is changing, as we go back now stateside to find out if we will be going back green.
As we look back over some of the moments in the pits and on track that have defined the race so far, it was not a perfect pit stop for Alex Palou on his first stop.
And it got more difficult from there. Contact while lapping Melvin Siegel put the driver of the number 6 McLaren into the wall. On board from him, you see that left front suspension fail on contact, and pit stop problems persisting for the big teams.
Yeah, the 2 team pulling the air jack a little early on Caitlin Brown on the left front there. She waves her arm to get it up, re-secures that wing nut, still gets the wing change in, but Newgarden losing precious seconds.
And bizarrely, a second issue on the Alex Palou 10 car for the Honda team. Slow getaway for him, Alex Palou down in 7th as a result. Then Rahal, we heard from him earlier, just getting up onto the marbles and into the wall, bringing an early end to his day. Kiffin Simpson running out of fuel, and screaming past him as the rain fell was Marcus Ericsson, Kaio Collet, and Scott Dixon. Now, we heard from Marcus Ericsson. We heard from his wife. Why don't we go down and hear from the man responsible for the driver currently sitting second, Larry Foyt, whose driver Kaio Collet is having a wonderful evening in second place.
Oh man, well, it has just been so impressive to watch and see what the rookie Kaio Collet has been doing. He's really been impressive all season, but it seems like as we get into the season, he just gets more and more confident as it goes along. How impressed have you been with tonight specifically?
Well, he's doing a great job tonight, obviously, but I think you hit on it. I think every race, his confidence gets better. So to see him out there running the way he is, really, really happy for him right now. And just try to get this race back green here so we can get the 14 car closer up. And no, Kaio's done a great job, and I think the results will come soon.
Has there been coaching to him over the radio, or what's really been said, or any advice as we get ready to go back green?
Yeah, I mean, he's been really happy. I think I told you earlier, we've been trying to work the fuel, save a little fuel, and lengthen that stint, and it's worked out for us. We've had a couple pretty lucky yellows come out right at the right time, helped us move up a little bit, and the guys are doing a great job in the pits. So it's exciting for him. I know he wants the results, so I hope we can get this back going and get it done.
There are 5 injured drivers in the field right now, Kaio being one with the bruised, maybe even fractured ribs he alluded to. How are they? Have you heard any updates?
Yeah, I mean, that was a big hit he took at Indianapolis, but he's a tough kid, and he doesn't really let on, I think, to how sore he's been. So he's getting better every week, though. Detroit was tough. I mean, it's a tough place to go to when you're banged up, but these guys, they're showing that they are athletes, and they're tough, so it's great.
He's one tough cookie. We'll see what he can do. That's the rookie, Kaio Collet. Thank you, Larry.
One tough cookie, the rookie. Kaio Collet up 18 places from where he started. Sits second. A wonderful job so far. Had a podium here last year in the Indy Next series. Was promoted to IndyCar as the runner-up in that championship to Dennis Hauger. But supremely impressive this year, guys. We've talked about him right from the outset, both from his determination, his mindset, the way that he approaches his racing, and to what we've seen from him out on track, particularly I think back to the 500, how he impressed in that open test, how he impressed throughout the week of practice. Qualifying, got up into the top 12 and actually qualified in the top 10 until was thrown to the back for a technical infringement, and raced with some aplomb in the Indy 500 until that crash near the end ultimately took him out. But I've been super, super impressed with this guy.
Yeah, he reminds us all, I think, of a rookie Alex Palou in terms of his temperament and methodologies. Let's see if we can dial up the driver, the number 4 here, and have a chat. Hey, Cow, it's Townsend Bell up here in the Fox booth. You got a copy?
Hey, what's up?
How you doing, man?
Yeah, copy. What?
I just noticing here, I didn't remember you wearing glasses. Is that something you've done all season?
No, I started on the month of May. I think it's a good improvement.
Yeah, it seems like it's working really well. You've had a brilliant night. Tell us about your drive up through the field. Your racecraft has looked perfect. The balance of the race cars looked extremely strong. How's it been from inside the cockpit?
The first run, we were struggling a little bit. We made some adjustments on the first stop, and honestly, the car just became unbelievable. It's really, really good. Honestly, just enjoying myself out there. Hopefully, we can restart this race and see what we can do.
How's the body feeling? We talked, of course, about the crash at Indy, and we know you've been in some pain. This is an oval. All that load is on the right-hand side. Are you feeling okay?
I try not to think about that too much, to be honest, especially now at the front. You you don't really deal with the pain, but I have some injections that are working well so far, so hopefully I can have a smooth night.
You got those strong Brazilian colors. We know Brazil's going to be a force in the World Cup. You've got to be excited for what's coming up over the next several weeks.
Yeah, for sure. Especially if we can finish off with a good night here, will be really good.
Not sure what's going to happen with the weather here, but thanks for chatting with us, and best of luck to finish strong tonight.
Thanks, guys.
There is a young man staring potentially at his first ever IndyCar podium.
And he's just cool as a cucumber in there. You can't really phase him. He wants this race to keep going. That's what I love. He's sitting here on a podium. If they throw the checkered right now, job done, hardware coming home with him, but he wants a shot at the win.
Here, Christian Lundgaard credit glasses this season with improving his vision behind the wheel. He got a win in May. Cal Collette now, as a rookie, looking at his first podium with the glasses coming on. There's a vibe, there's a trend moving here in IndyCar.
But you know what's interesting is Marcus Ericsson normally wears glasses, and I didn't see them on him when we were chatting to him earlier. So we might have to dial Marcus back up and figure out what happened to the glasses.
Are they on there?
I don't know.
Can we go to the point?
He's got his new special, very focal lens on his visor, hasn't he?
Maybe right. I think you're right, James. No
glasses.
Wow.
Maybe he's moved to contacts. Kevin, has he just turned the camera? I think Marcus just turned the camera off, so we can't see.
We're getting into the
smooth
minutia.
move, Marcus. Smooth move. Kevin, what do you know? Has Marcus moved to contact lenses?
I don't have that intel at this point, but I can go back to Iris in a moment and get confirmation.
Please do.
But what I have been listening is to the 28 pit stand and discussing options, and they're looking at radar right now, and it has never rained. It is no more than a sprinkle. It stops at times, it's sprinkling again. We are a mere moments away. If it just stopped for 5 minutes, we would return to green flag racing. So they're discussing, all right, what do you want to do here? And he was presented with options. We think track position is important because we think it might rain hard in about 30 minutes, so we want to stay in front. However, sometimes radars and weather forecasting is wrong. If it were to stay green and go to the distance, we think if we saved fuel, we might be able to get it done on one more stop. What do you want to do? Marcus said, I want to push. He's going to want to keep track position. That protects him in case it does rain, and he just wants to continue to use the excellent race car that Andretti has given him tonight.
When we talk about the strategies playing out tonight, guys, I want to look in particular at Scott Dixon and Will Power, the two most experienced drivers in the field. Both of them played their hand and played an alternate strategy today. Power, who took the option to top off early on with more fuel in the hope that rain would fall, was at the back of the field, rain fell, and as it turned out, his strategy sees him jumped up to 5th. Scott Dixon, with his strategy, he's jumped up to 3rd. Great run, great strategy, brilliant stuff so far from both of those drivers.
Well, and we're seeing the signal from race officials to get drivers out of cars, so that does not sound like anything getting closer.
No, drivers have been told they can leave their cars. This might be the conclusion of the race, everyone.
Sitting in here for 40 minutes. And James, you know this presents all kinds of new issues for drivers who have a drink system, and their bodies are used to handling things under duress, high G-force, high adrenaline. But when you're sitting for a while, it presents a whole new set of challenges.
What you're saying is they need a personal pit stop.
It could be part of it.
I don't want to jump to conclusions.
Could be part of it. Speaking from experience, it's nice sometimes to get this break. Harder for a guy like Alex Rossi. Not as easy to get in and out of the race car, still nursing that injured foot.
He's got an injured hand and foot to climb out with, and takes him a bit. Screws in both after a big crash.
See the carbon fiber brace on that ankle. He's going to stretch it out a little bit while someone fetches the crutches. He's been moving around the paddock since that wreck in Indy on the practice Monday after qualifying on those crutches, all through Detroit weekend, all through this weekend as well. We saw Joseph Newgarden in his boot during the World Cup celebrations pre-race.
Well, for Rossi, it's his throttle foot. For Joseph Newgarden, it's his brake foot. Rossi with an injured hand after his Indy 500 accident as well. Romain Grosjean injured his hand during an accident at Detroit. Had to have a pin put in that. And we've already talked to this guy There's Caio Collet, who we were talking to on the radio moments ago with those heavily injured ribs. These are your current injuries. Mick Schumacher actually did his left wrist when we were at St. Pete, the season opener. He was put out of the race at the very first lap and has been carrying that injury ever since. So that's our list of walking wounded, quite literally. Alexander Rossi.
Or crutching wounded, hobbling wounded.
Hop-along wounded.
But in surprisingly good spirits, that guy. As you see, you can see how gingerly Newgarden is walking on that left foot without that boot on. He might get over to pit wall and get that foot elevated.
Well, what a great run for Newgarden so far today. P4, but has never looked any less than a driver who has both the car and the drive tonight to be able to fight for the win. And he sounded so negative after the race in Detroit, saying he was in two minds whether he was looking forward to coming here to Gateway, but he's so good here, always has been, as he talks to his former teammate Will Power, the man who replaced Will Power at Penske, David Malukas, standing by with Georgia.
Yeah, we were just talking about his race so far, 138 laps completed, 122 to go. How has the Team Penske number 12 been?
It's been a little bit tough, we're not going to lie. Yeah, we just missed the mark on where the setup needed to be, and I knew literally within 5 laps into the race, I said, oh boy, this is going to be a long race for us. So every pit stop, we're just waiting for the next pit stop cycle to go, do some front wing, see what we can do with the car, but we're just so limited, right? There's only so much we can do. My tools are all maxed out in my car. We're trying our best, but yeah, it's a little bit of a survival. Hopefully, maybe with the weather, but to be honest, the cooler it gets, it's actually worse from where our car is right now. So a little bit unfortunate. Hopefully we can figure something out, but yeah, we don't have the pace, unfortunately.
Have you been able to make any improvements, or has it just been a guessing game?
Not really. I mean, we were interested to see that next new tire run. We made some more changes on that pit stops. Maybe we could have got something, but I don't know. It's just like we're going to get a little bit here or there, but it's not going to be the big chunk that we need. So I wish I could go back in time and really change the setup of this car, but it is what it is now.
Thanks, David. Kevin.
Alex Palou is walking to the front of the grid towards his pit box. All right, leading a lot of laps at the beginning. Then a little bit of contact. Did that impact the car? How is it at this point if we go back to racing again?
No, it didn't really impact the car. I need to see what really happened there. But no, the car is good. The car is good. It was just I couldn't really get through traffic like Marcus was and Joseph were. And then also a little bit of, yeah, some people.
They want you back in the car. Let's turn around and walk back the other way. All right, we were going to try to get you. Yeah, we'll have to do that again. Yeah, I think he's got more pressing business. We'll discuss that later, what happened in the contact earlier. Jack.
Christian Rasmussen, man, you were so fast out there. You look so sporty. Did it feel as good as what it looked?
Yeah, it's been all right. You know, we've just been trucking away throughout the night and making our way forward. And it's, yeah, the car's good. You know, we'll just keep doing what we're doing, and I think we'll probably end up pretty good here.
What is your radar showing? Are you confident we're going to get back out here in a few?
Well, it looks like there's a lot of green and yellow and red on the radar, but I think if we go now, I think we'll probably be all right for at least a little bit of running.
Well, they just called drivers to the car, so we won't keep you. Best of luck, buddy.
Iceman coolly walking to his car, not in a huge rush to get back in. They know they won't start the race without him.
Fastest toilet run in history.
That's a short driver's out of your car. It's a long red flag, but normally when the decision's made to let drivers get out of the race cars, it's because it's going to be a minute before we get back to racing. But again, the weather doing what it's doing, which is just barely sprinkling. We've never really truly lost the racetrack, but the radar looks the same now as it did when it started, and it looks the same for the next few hours, to be honest.
The good news is, from what we're seeing, no lightning in the area as yet. So the intensity of whatever is blowing through is not as big as it could be.
Got a nice little window right there, but this is what Christian Rasmussen was talking about, is some of those blobs that pop up, and you sympathize with race control in these situations. You're trying to predict what's going to happen, and it's constantly changing.
You know what? That doesn't look half bad.
Looks like we've got a gap.
There's a window over Oakville. I saw it there on the map. window over Oakville.
Where did we have lunch today? Clayton.
Clayton. Is that right?
Yeah, nice little tapas place.
Yeah, Barcelona.
Well, that's where this guy, our four-time champion, hails from. Is that an omen?
He's not from the same place that we went to today.
No, well, I mean, obviously, he doesn't come from the tapas joint we went to for lunch. I mean, he comes from Barcelona in Spain,
Yes,
actual Barcelona in Spain.
That one, got it. Yeah. So interesting comments here from David Malukas saying, you know, he's maxed out on his tools, and the cooler it gets, the worse it is for him. So, T-Bell, that tells me this car's running loose. Normally, as the track cools down, the air cools down, the balance tends to go a little bit more forward, and you're fighting oversteer in that race car. He could be maxed out on all the tools, and as it gets cooler, it's only going to get harder to hang on to that number 12.
Drivers getting ready. We're getting ready to get back to racing in St. Louis.
Good news for the likes of Andrew Osborne, George, JX400, Kimberly. We're going racing, so people still up and about watching in the UK, and your passion has been rewarded, because I know a lot of you have work. Monday morning looms, but also some green flag action. And for Marcus Ericsson, he sounded pretty confident. He feels he's got a good car. David Malukas, less so. First of his 2 top 3 finishes of his career came here as a Dale Coyne racing driver. Probably came into today with high hopes after yesterday's qualifying. Doesn't feel he has the car underneath him at the moment. Worth pointing out as well, Felix Rosenqvist, who's had obviously such a strong time of it of late. His 4th top 4 qualifying run in the past 5 events yesterday, had that big win at Indianapolis. He hasn't quite been at it in the race. He's gone backwards, finds himself in 15th place, so struggle bus for the Boombastic machine there. Saw another graphic of the walking wounded Alexander Rossi on his crutches, talking to Scott Newgarden down there, and we saw Pato O'Ward running back to his car, started 3rd, finished 2nd last year. His 4th runner-up, finishing 7 Gateway starts, including 2 of the last 3 years. Doesn't look like it's going to be that day for him. He's down in 12th. He's actually the lead Papaya machine, with Lundgaard, his teammate, in 13th. But lots of question marks if we get going. Let's head back.
Engines will fire in 6 minutes time, and we will roll back to green. That is great news for everyone in the grandstands, and we're sure for you at home. Don't go anywhere. We are going to be here for as long as it takes to get this thing finished.
All right, now it's that fun time for the drivers where they've got to kind of clock back in, zone back in, get your mind in the right place, kind of remember what your car was doing, but remember that it's going to feel a little bit different. That first lap into turn 1, it hasn't rained to the point where rubber's washed off the track or anything like that, but track temp will have cooled down. Probably air temps come down a little bit. Things are going to be marginally different, and you've got to take that into account when you're firing it off into turn 1 on that first lap.
And you know what it's like, James. It's hard in these situations to get back into the mental groove, just to kind of get into the psyche and the percussion that you were in, already doing 120 plus laps around here in anger, understanding the balance, understanding your controls, really feeling the tire in the track. You've got to try to capture that moment, jump right back on the tightrope at the first attempt.
And guys, we're talking about performance athletes here. The entire day has been built around race start time, when you sleep, when you eat, when you drink, so that your body is in the prime sort of operating window for you as an athlete. That starts to disappear, not only the longer a race goes on, but when you're under red for this long as well. How tough is it for you guys as athletes, and you know these situations well, to actually feel your body in the place it needs to be?
Well, part of the challenge, Will, is you got to think about it. For over an hour, for about an hour and 20 minutes, these drivers were heart rate up, adrenaline pumping, and then all of a sudden you sit for an hour, everything crashes, the body crashes, the brain crashes, and now you've got to somehow find a way to jack all those things back up and get going again. It's not the easiest thing to do, but it's something that you experience throughout your career at every level. Certainly more of a common thing at this level as the races get longer. It's just part of it.
It only takes about a lap or two, Will, to fully get right back into the zone, but that first lap is dicey, because not only are you hoping that you personally get back in, but you're wondering around about the competitors that are around you right now, as Ferrucci seems absolutely amped up and ready to go as we look into that clear aero screen and that clear visor.
From a sedentary state to averaging 170 miles an hour a lap. That's what you guys have got to lock into.
In about, I bet it's 5 minutes from fire your engines, couple warm-up laps, and then we'll go. So, you know, to Townsend's point, that first flyer, everything cranks up real quickly.
And you're in dirty air. Everything's packed up. You're in one big blob firing down into turn one.
And at night.
And at night, and again, especially on an oval, on those restarts, you're really relying on your spotter. You need them to be right on their game as well. So, I mean, this is truly a team effort at this point. Was that the one to go, or was that just hold your horses?
Probably 1 minute to firing engines, I'm guessing, as you see a tremendous amount of pickup on the tires of Marcus Ericsson there. Those are the marbles that the hot Firestones would have picked up when they came to pit lane.
Okay, so let's throw this one at you, pal.
Toss it.
With the way the radar looks, that kind of sprinkle that could neutralize this race could come at any time. You could potentially do it on one more stop if you save a little bit of fuel. Or you can run hard, keep that track position, and be prepared for a yellow and a red should it come.
Yeah, you go. You absolutely go full steam, keep the track position. And if you come up short, I mean, who's going to get it? Based on these conditions, James, these are variable sprinkles. We've been in these situations before. It's a mist. It's a little bit of a trickle. Then it stops. You don't know. It's very, very difficult for anybody right now to look at radar and tell us definitively when that time might come.
But if anyone wants to try that, I'm looking at P3 right now, Scott Dixon. I don't think his car is as quick as Ericsson, as quick as Newgarden behind, but he's so good at saving fuel and keeping the pace. If there's one driver that could maybe try to squeak this thing out on one more, it's this guy right here.
Dixon, Newgarden, Power. All last pitted on lap 120. Behind them, Lundgaard, Ferrucci, and Rosenqvist, the Indy 500 winner, last pitted on lap 128. They're looking the best for... But they are, according to laps counted, one back.
Engines refired. Red flag of 38 minutes due to the rain. We restart behind the safety car.
The top 9 are counted as having completed 137 laps. We're going to have to double check that as we roll back to green. But as it stands, at least, actually, I'm getting confirmation it is the top 15 on the lead lap. So that has everyone down to Rosenqvist. So Lundgaard, Ferrucci, Rosenqvist. Last lap pitted 128. They are on the lead lap, and so they are very much in the mix. Our running order then: Ericsson, Collette, the rookie, and Dixon. Then Newgarden, Power, and Rasmussen, Palou, Kirkwood, VK, and David Malukas, the top 10. Then it is Scott McLaughlin, Pato O'Ward, Christian Lundgaard, Santino Ferrucci, Felix Rosenqvist. That's your top 15. Those the drivers on the lead lap.
So you said it, you pointed out all that spent rubber, all the marbles that were on the tires of these cars as they came into the pits for that red. Now you got to work as hard as you can to try to scrub that off.
Carefully.
Get these things clean.
Carefully.
Get these things clean carefully. I mean, we know how easy symmetrically for these oval tracks.
And remember, with all the camber that you run on an oval, a lot of the tires not in contact with the racetrack, so a lot of the pickup just simply can't be removed by swerving because you're not going fast enough and able to laterally load the car enough to flex the tire, get the deflection and the camber to go level with the racetrack. So that makes the first corner of this restart ultra high stakes.
And as you weave to put temperature into those tires, think back, folks, 12 months ago to the Indianapolis 500. The track was cool. rain had fallen. Scott McLaughlin trying to put temperature into his tyres, ended up losing control, hitting the pit wall,
crashed out,
and retiring from that race before it had even begun. It is treacherous even before we roll to green. Right on board, courtesy of Dex Imaging with Scott McLaughlin, that beautiful liveried car. Such a gorgeous throwback livery. I wish they'd run this.
I'm agreeing with you because it's very exciting. We're going to have I think we are going to have some form of accident if they're not careful. The pits are open. Some crews are on pit road. Let's see. Dixon's in. Palou coming in. They're all going to top up with fuel. So is Malukas. Well, we are going to restart.
One of the McLaren cars, I think that's Award's over the wall. A few different strategies potentially playing out here, because if you top off now, you could try to make it on one more stop. You see Dixon as well.
I think Rosenquist might be out there as well.
Powers crew maybe doing a fake.
Well, and in comes Dixon, in comes Palou.
Kirkwood, Award.
In comes the 12 of David Malukas as well. And Kevin, as always, standing by on pit lane.
So first we see Scott Dixon hit his mark pulling in the PNC Bank car, and then we're going to see the Honda HRC coming around with Alex Palou. Dixon is going to come out in front. That's where he was with track position. So it is a strategy play. Let's do something a little bit different. Ericsson has looked really hooked up. If it were not to rain the rest of the way, they've got a much better chance of being able to do it on one more stop.
Very interesting, though. The 9 did not take tires. Couldn't see everyone up and down pit lane, but certainly Palou in the 10 did. I think McLaughlin behind him did as well, Award, but Scott Dixon came in the lead of this pack, also left the lead of this pack, but did not change his Firestones.
Wonder if they just didn't want to risk losing track position there, because the Firestones are still pretty fresh based on Dixon's last stop. But it's like there's a lot of, oh, and look at this, Kiffin Simpson's car, which had been
he's going to get back in the race.
The wall out in the middle of pit in between turns 3 and 4 is now returned to pit lane. Georgia Simpson's in the car, buckled, and presumably the crew is going to put Sunoco gas in this thing.
Well, that's exactly it, Townsend. They could not refuel under red. So they sat that whole time. Kevin got back in the car, now rolling him back down to pit lane, all the way down to the very first pit stop at pit in. They're going to put fuel in that car, and he'll be good to go.
Well, he'll be about 20 laps behind. That won't matter. He'll just hope to hang on to the finish. Hope that somebody else falls out, and then he can pick up more points if he can reach race conclusion. Ericsson, Collette, and Newgarden. Right in the midst of that, though, is the blue, white, and red car of Marcus Armstrong, who's down in 16th place, so has been lapped, but he's right in the middle of this pack, will be when we roll back to green. So if Collette wants to...
the green flag is coming this time by. We are going to get a restart here then for the Bommarito Automotive Group 500. Marcus Ericsson, followed then by Kyle Collette and Joseph Newgarden. We've been under a red flag for 40 minutes due to a little bit of wet weather. We go racing again here. We're past half distance. It's racing until the next rainstorm. We go green, and immediately Kyle Collette's going to try and get through on the inside line. Ericsson leads at the moment. Collette in P2. Lap cars getting themselves out of the way. As things stand, Simpson's coming through. The track's going to be incredibly cool and a little bit greasy, remember. So don't do anything stupid straight away. Just get through the opening lap. And Collette's now being swamped as well. Round goes Newgarden, Power, Kirkwood. So they're all coming back through. Ericsson leading. Collette now still second. Newgarden third. Power, Rasmussen, Kirkwood, VK, Lundgaard, Dixon, Palou the top 10.
Kyle Collette's got a good run.
He might have a better run, though, on Kyle Collette down the back straightaway. Look for Newgarden to poke out high and maybe go too wide.
Newgarden does go high. Collette has it covered for now.
Either not quite enough grip or not quite enough trust in that high line for Newgarden to make it stick. He's going to pop out here into one.
That's down on the inside. Newgarden can't get the traction to get that sorted. So unfortunately, it won't be a manoeuvre to be done. Kiffin Simpson still on pit road. Kyle Collette still P2. Ericsson the leader. Ericsson holding off the lead. Kirkwood's in P5. Rasmussen in 6th. We're watching Newgarden now. He's on the toe. As round the outside, that's Scotty Mack on teammate David Malukas, and he's up now up into 13th place. Ferrucci, the next car, just ahead to try and make an advantage. He'll swing around the outside and will brush against the barrier, but I think McLaughlin's going to be able to get through here. He should have an easy enough traction. Newgarden has passed Kyle Collette. So Newgarden's now P2, Collette P3. Scotty Mack gets ahead of Ferrucci for 12th position. Lap 148 and 260.
By us, Newgarden has got through Kyle Collette for second place. But look at Marcus Ericsson stretching his legs once again. He has been at one with his car tonight, and that's the move for Newgarden, up and on the inside of Kyle Collette to get up there into second place. But what a job! What a job Ericsson is doing tonight.
Oh, Ericsson's doing a phenomenal job right now. He's just got to stay patient, stay focused. He doesn't love the fact he's got a car in front of him. As a leader, he wants clean air, but Armstrong has every right to try to fight to stay on the lead lap, and he's doing a great job of that right now.
Actually unlapped himself to take the position ahead of Marcus Ericsson. And guys, one thing we've not talked about so far tonight is that Ericsson is under pressure this season for his seat. We've talked about the fact we're getting into that part of the year where contracts are talked about for 2027. Dennis Hauger, who didn't start this race today, is under the Andretti umbrella, the impressive rookie who won the Indy Next Championship last year. Hauger has one eye on Marcus Ericsson's ride for next year at Andretti.
Oh, getting a bit close to contact here. That's Malukas trying to go through the inside of Santino Ferrucci, and he's done it. So Malukas gets ahead, and Ferrucci just could not do anything about it. Just dropped back out of nowhere, and that is going to be, I think, the collection of this race.
To that team, but if it doesn't happen to work out at that team, to remind this field of his quality in IndyCar.
Well, he's doing an incredible job tonight, reminding everybody why he's an Indy 500 champion. A flawless drive so far, but you've got to wonder, that splash to top up from Scott Dixon and some of the other drivers there, I'm sure they think that if this stays green all the way to lap 260, they're probably trying to save mad fuel right now so they can make it on one more stop, whereas Marcus Ericsson and Andretti would have to stop 2 more times to get to the end.
Oh, puts that move on Armstrong.
And he needed that. He has to work for it harder than anybody, but that's going to allow Newgarden to capitalize on the loss of momentum from Armstrong. So where it took
and Newgarden goes through.
Ericsson to get by. Joseph's going to get him in 1/2 a lap.
Newgarden is such a force at this track. 5 times a winner here. Was leading last year up until the point that he was involved in a massive incident with Louis Foster, who had found the barrier and was careening down the track. Nothing that Newgarden could do.
Had the spin and win here a few years ago as well. One of the drivers that came into pit, maybe going slightly on a different strategy than our leaders, was Alex Palou. Kevin, what's the 10 crew saying?
They are saving fuel at this point, but trying to maintain position. But here's the way I see it. If this race goes to 260 laps, if it does not rain again, I think Dixon and Palou and maybe Pato Award, that group are racing for the win. They will be able to do it on one more stop. Certainly Dixon and Palou, those up front. Marcus Ericsson already confirmed he's full push. They are almost certainly going to need 2 unless there's a lot of caution.
So 2 distinct strategies are going to play out for the remaining 110 laps.
I'll tell you what, I'm looking.
This is going to be a very chaotic 110 laps. 105 now coming into it as we go side by side, almost going around Christian Rasmussen, pushing hard to get ahead of Carl Kirk on the outside line on turn 4, and he's taken him. Great move there from Rasmussen, and he's fought ahead. And unfortunately, that's just going to the way the cookie crumbles.
Will Power, and guys, let's not forget, back to Phoenix, the last time we were on a short oval, it was Rasmussen versus Power that led to both of them not finishing that race. Rasmussen was on an incredible drive that day, fighting his way through the field. It was the move ultimately for the lead against Will Power that saw the 2 of them make contact and both their days end.
So I just want to go back to that math on Scott Dixon, James. He pitted on lap 140. That is a full 120 laps to the finish. That would be 60 laps split into 2 stints. That's an awful long ways to go. Dixon only went 55 laps on his first stint and was the best of the bunch. Nobody went farther. So I just wonder if Scott Dixon is saving mad fuel. Right on board the number 9 PNC car. Let's just listen for a lap to see if he's breathing it big time here in turn 1. not sound like crazy fuel save at all. So I think they're going to need some caution to make this thing work.
The other thing to remember is drivers do have engine settings that'll lean the engines out. He could be in a super conservative fuel map right now and not having to do as much of the work with his right foot. Sounds like maybe they're struggling to hit the number.
It certainly does. That map is optimistic from where I sit. Kevin, what can you tell us about Palou?
He asked about the number that Dixon is getting. I think that Palou is having a hard time making the fuel number to make it to the end. Also, Pato O'Ward pitted the same lap as Dixon and Palou, running 8th, 9th, and 10th. But O'Ward was just told full push. Let's see if he can get by the two Ganassi cars.
Here comes Rasmussen up the inside of Power, and that is 4th place. Next for the Sultan of Sketch.
They're giving him
is a
all
fight
the gas.
for the podium.
All
Here
the
comes
gas
Power.
he
Power's coming
wants.
back.
Power's going to have an attack back, but Rasmussen's got that door closed, and it is signed, sealed, and delivered. Christian Rasmussen now in P4. Ericsson leading Newgarden and Collette. Rasmussen Power the top 5.
Under attack from his teammate Kyle Kirkwood. Right now, all 3 edge-ready global machines running in the top 6. Impressive considering short tracks weren't really their strength the last few seasons. Lots of work done in the offseason. We saw the speed in Phoenix, and they're backing it up here tonight.
If you want to know just how hard the leading drivers in today's race have had to fight, Ericsson, Newgarden, Collette, Rasmussen, and Power know this. They are the 5 drivers who have made up the most positions from the start of this race. Collette has made up 17 positions. Power's up 16. Rasmussen's up 15. Ericsson's up 11. Newgarden's up 6.
They're also 4 of the 5 fastest cars on the racetrack last time by. Only driver in the top 5 on that. That's not in the top 5 on the racetrack is Scott Dixon, which tells me they maybe have abandoned this plan and trying to make that fuel number.
I think they have, absolutely. And I think Kyle Kirkwood's got to be wondering, hey, I out-qualified.
Well, at the moment, the rain is predicted in the next 15 minutes, so that's why the fuel is staying at the moment the way it is. But we've got 97 to go. We're ticking them off quite quickly. But that's still around about 50 minutes of running.
Needed to make that move, and he has almost a 2-second advantage over Joseph Newgarden right now. Ericsson said he wanted to get this done under green, said he had the car underneath him. Does he ever have the car underneath him today? That is a face of calm.
Yeah, he's looked ultra calm behind the wheel. Spoke to his wife Iris under that rain delay, and she has all the confidence in the world that he's the fastest driver on track today. And whether it stops early or goes the distance, she knows they're the one to beat tonight.
Less than 100 laps to go, but the key over these next 2 stops for the 28, it's going to be about making those subtle changes in the pit stops to stay ahead of these changing track conditions. Sometimes the car's just perfect, T-Bell, you don't have to touch it, but sometimes you need to just preempt it. Give it a half a turn of front wing just in case it starts going that way.
Not on this Delaware Life car, man. This thing has been so dialed in. This is one of those don't touch it. You look at Ericsson on board, we don't see him touching much in the way of settings or adjustments at all. I think they're that good, that dialed in. But we'll have to see as the track temp continues to drop with the cloud cover.
Here comes Renus VK. Oh, that is close. Not just to the 27 of Kirkwood, but to the wall on his right-hand side on the entry to the corner. They exit side by side, get the slipstream from Will Power ahead. One driver done already.
Yeah, Kirkwood down on another position. VK goes through into 6th place, and now he's on the back of Will Power coming out of turn 2. He's going to try and get the slipstream momentum onto him as well. Power wants to go defensive. The riders are going to be pushing the stallions through as much as they can right now. We're on 1:68 of 2:60, 93 to go.
Big recovery coming.
Got a replay on board with Rasmussen. What's happened here? Oh, that's a massive save.
Rasmussen saves it.
Oh, man.
That was opposite lock.
Was almost into the barrier.
And guys, he didn't lose a place.
That's why he's got the nickname. The Sultan of Sketch does it again.
Here comes VK.
VK on the inside line. He's slipped through at turn 3 on Power, so he's taken him into 4. VK to 5th.
So you've got one driver that almost crashed 2 laps ago in Christian Rasmussen, and then the charging Rinus VeeKay. Guys, remember what happened in practice yesterday? It was VeeKay high on sketch factor. He got into the wall. It's Kirkwood now is passing power, but on the bottom half of the screen, this was Rinus VeeKay pretty heavy into the wall in turn 3. So both these drivers have been right on the ragged edge this weekend, and now they run nose to tail in a battle for 4th.
VeeKay put that Strawberry Fields rear wing straight into the wall yesterday. That is Louis Foster. Just a miserable day for him, and RLL falling down the order. Hasn't been able to show any pace at all on track for Louis Foster. But here comes Scott Dixon trying to hang on to the coattails of the Andretti cars ahead. I think you guys are absolutely right. They have ditched that fuel-safe strategy. Full push now to the end. The fastest drivers on track remain those at the front. Newgarden is the fastest driver right now as he tries to cut that back. The gap back to Marcus Ericsson. It was 2 seconds. It's now about 1¼ seconds. So Newgarden starting to cut that trailing gap back as Mick Schumacher now tries to unlap himself from Alex Palou. And if we talk about Palou struggling to make a number, struggling to find speed, the RLL of Mick Schumacher has passed him and is about to pass his teammate Louis Foster as well.
But now Palou's going to try to take that place back around the outside of one. Schumacher tries deep in.
Meanwhile, Kyle Kirkwood on pit lane making a stop. That seems a little bit early.
Feels very early. Palou defends from Pato O'Ward.
And up front, Ericsson's now caught the back of the pack, so he's running in dirty air. Newgarden's closed that gap down to under 0.7 of a second.
And I'll tell you why, mate, because having caught the back of the pack, he's now running 4 miles an hour slower than he was when he was in clean air. 167 average falls down to a 163.
I take that back on Kyle Kirkwood. That last stop for him was 108, I think, before the caution.
Kirkwood was in the pits and he's gone now.
Kind of in no man's land on strategy right now as Palou and O'Ward continue to battle for 8th.
VeeKay.
Yeah, VeeKay diving down pit lane, as is Rasmussen and Power.
Neat and tidy the stop. Oh, I don't have to.
Little long into the box, but super clean. This is interesting. Kirkwood sort of forcing the hand of everybody. Easy to do it now on one more.
For sure, we'll have to see how Rinus VeeKay and that long slide in his box, does it penalize him on the blend as Christian Rasmussen now comes to pit road, and Jack, he's coming to you.
He is, Townsend. Chatting to him when they got out for that red, he said he thought his car was very good on the second half of each stint. We obviously saw that huge moment he had. From what I can see right now, no wing change. He must be fixing that car on tools inside of his car.
VeeKay blends back out. He's in turn 3. Kirkwood's just behind him, and then those 2 drivers, Kirkwood and VeeKay, will be blending now with Christian Rasmussen in half a lap.
Ericsson coming up to the back of Stingray. Rob, remember how difficult he was to pass earlier in this race.
This is tough, guys. If Kirkwood and VeeKay are in clean air, and if Rasmussen gets a couple clean laps right now, this reduced pace that the 28 and the 2 are having to run in this traffic, and you see him, I think maybe he's coming to pit lane now.
Newgarden goes with him, goes high. This is a fight for the lead, and Newgarden gets around him because...
Newgarden versus Ericsson round the outside, and Joseph Newgarden leads as Marcus Ericsson comes into the pit lane. So Joseph Newgarden, once again at an oval in IndyCar, is the race leader again. Right, this race hotting up. Newgarden pits, Ericsson pits, Kyle Collette doesn't, and Kyle Collette's going to lead this race.
Not likely to be the last stop. They would take a massive amount of caution. We think about 55, 57 laps, maybe 60 under fuel save is the most that you can do. So if it doesn't rain and we go to the distance, likely another stop needed for Ericsson. Georgia.
They called Joseph Newgarden to pit 1 lap ago, right when he was taking the lead. He decided to stay out, but now he's making his way to the attention of his crew. It's going to be 4 tires and fuel with him. He's been pretty quiet on the radio. Overall happy with this race car.
Ericsson is just leaving pit lane now. He makes his way out on track. You see that in the lower half of your screen.
Well ahead of Christian Rasmussen, who was the other driver, the highest running driver that had already pit.
But where does Ericsson blend with Joseph Newgarden? who pitted on the very next lap. Ericsson across the line.
Newgarden's just coming off of the pit lane right now.
So he'll be trying to get up to speed as now Marcus Ericsson has warm tires, and there you see
that's the difference.
The car coming.
Newgarden is ahead on track, but Ericsson should have the pace and the tires up to temperature.
I think Joe New's in great shape.
That's a great pit cycle for the number 2.
Huge.
But here comes Ericsson. He'll take the tow.
Meanwhile, Kyle Collette leads Scott Dixon on that alternate strategy with Alex Palou. They won't have to pit for some time for the final stop.
Collette's in. Collette was on the same strategy as your Malucas's, sorry, not Malucas, as your Newgardens and your Ericssons. And look at the gap caught down by Ericsson. He's right with Newgarden now.
Before they caught the tail end of the lead lap, it's a nice, so far, so good, clean stop happens for Collette on the bottom of your screen. Ericsson drove away by almost 2 seconds over Newgarden. No doubt he's a little bit quicker, but you got to get by him. You got to get by a driver that's won this race 5 times.
Tidy stop for Kyle Collette and the AJ Foyt Racing team. Newgarden defending from Ericsson. Dixon and Palou lead from O'Ward, McLaughlin, Malukas, Ferrucci, Rosenquist and Armstrong. Don't forget they are all on a different strategy to Newgarden and Ericsson.
So the 4 are going to come out to 76. There goes VK. Here comes Palou on a slightly different strategy. VK's the car he's really racing. You've got Palou there who's running second on this alternate strategy.
We still think that Alex Palou and Scott Dixon are going to struggle to make it into the window and make it on one more stop. So there's a lot going on with the racetrack, with strategy right now, with track position as Marcus Ericsson continues to hunt Newgarden.
Look at the poise of that Andretti. He's got pace in hand.
And then all the while, you've got the question of, is this going to go the distance, or is rain going to finally re-enter the equation? Everybody probably is looking at the radar and trying to calculate and play their best weatherman tonight.
The drivers who were leading find themselves now in a battle from 7th down. The running order for them is Newgarden ahead of Ericsson. Rasmussen would find himself in a de facto podium position with Rinus VK right on his tail. Kyle Collette just behind him. Then Carl Kirkwood and Will Power. But up ahead is this guy in the bottom half of your screen, Scott Dixon, who leads his teammate Alex Palou.
Radar showing potential to get this race into the full distance, though. That's Bob Pockcrass saying that, though, not anybody else.
To see if Dixon really saving gas. Let's find out in turn 1. Doesn't really seem like it, James. Again, I don't think they're going to be able to make it without stopping 2 more times. One of those would just have to be a short splash unless there's a ton of caution.
Newgarden has made short work of Kiffin Simpson as he goes to lap him.
Find out, because I think Scott Dixon will have to make his next stop right around lap 195. He's about 8 laps away.
So McLaughlin has stopped and is out ahead of Newgarden.
But so he's abandoned that. He's abandoned that different strategy, and this is the difference right here. Strategy A, that's the group that pit early to try to do it on one more. Dixon, Palou, Malukas. Strategy B, those are the drivers that are just pushing, knowing they still have another one. Newgarden, Ericsson, and Rasmussen. But the fact that McLaughlin came in, he was on that A strategy earlier. He was on this one right here. He was running in where David Malukas is running in 3rd. Tells me that they don't think they can do it. Are Dixon, Palou, and Malukas going to try to hang it out there?
I don't think they can make it.
Newgarden is now onto the back of the boombastic race car of Felix Rosenquist. Rosenquist, who's trying that alternate strategy, and Newgarden fires his way past the Indy 500 winner. Newgarden up to 4th. Malukas, Palou, and Dixon, the only drivers ahead of him, and they are all on the alternate strategy. Ericsson will put the move on Rosenquist as well.
Well, Kevin Lee's down on pit lane. Kevin, you've been listening to the radio for Scott Dixon and Alex Palou. What do you know about their fuel save? Are they still trying to stretch this thing and make it on one more?
I think they are, but I'm also guessing from listening to these teams a lot. They're trying to save. They need to get to 200, and even then it's a little bit tight to do 60. But what I think they're still doing is they were going to effort one more stop, and all it takes is one caution in that final stint, and they're going to be able to make it home the rest of the way. These others, even if there's a caution, are still going to have to take one more stop. So that's the play for now.
I'm watching how long Dixon's off throttle in turn 1 and 2. And even going to the full lift in 3-4. He's hanging on to it. Those tires are getting old, but just watch how long he coasts on 0 throttle.
Trying to understand what Mike Hall would have just told him there. It's a pretty long coast phase.
He's letting it drift down quite a bit in that minimum speed. Oh no, he looks like he's coming in. No, sorry, I thought he was out of speeding to the pit entry there.
He's got to be close, right in range to making that next stop as Marcus Ericsson sits 17 seconds back of Scott Dixon.
17 seconds back. His last lap was a 166.7 to Dixon's 163.4. So definitely fuel save. Malukas, he's bailing.
Malukas bails, having just been passed by his teammate Joseph Newgarden. The driver.
Yeah, the battles are starting to come through now as well on lap 194. There are 67 laps to go. Into the pit lane comes David Malukas.
Better Scott Dixon's mileage has been than anybody tonight, even on that first stint. 2 or 3 laps better. We've been saying that for years.
So is this your first IndyCar race, bro? Welcome to the sport.
That's insane how much better it is. Malukas pitting on 194. We understand Mike Hall told Scott Dixon it's about 4 or 5 more laps he can get.
Malukas is
They're pushing hard out here. They're pushing hard.
But the pace differential now between the likes of Alex Palou, who's running around at 162, Newgarden 4 to 5 mile an hour, a lap faster than our 4-time champion.
To Kevin's point, even if Dixon and Palou can make it to lap 260 laps, that's 5 laps longer than anybody managed in the race last year.
Yeah, but they have a 17-second gap, and Ericsson will still have to stop one more time. So that kind of plays things out. If they're going to try to stretch it, Scott Dixon, he's got 17 seconds of fuel save to work with and slow up his pace and still hold the lead.
So ultimately, everybody in the field, no matter where they are, still has to make one more stop. If you're Dixon or Palou, you're praying for a yellow because you need to save fuel. Everybody else, it's full tilt, full push, all the way to the flag.
And this is the kind of thing that doesn't help Dixon. Kyle Collette right now, he's sitting there in P8, but he's a lap down. He wants to get ahead of Dixon, get back on that lead lap. And Dixon here...
Caution! Yellow's out! Why is this? One more with Scott Dixon now as they come through. Is this a yellow flag for any rain in the air? Or has somebody decided to drop in? There's Dixon getting past on the inside line. It's yellow flag for conditions! Scott Dixon leads as the yellow is out again for the weather.
Dixon, because
it's raining again.
Right now.
Oh boy!
Scott Dixon, Kevin, unless this is it.
Unless this is it, and how long will we go behind the pace car?
So Dixon leads, Palou second, Newgarden third, Ericsson fourth, Rasmussen fifth, but Rosenquist goes down to ninth because he's coming in, so's Rossi, but the weather is here again. We have another yellow flag. The conditions are causing it, and Dixon might have just won this race.
Lift and coast, 198 of 260 done here in St. Louis. We are under yellow for rain.
Let's check in with Tom Gaymore.
Every time Scott Dixon's at the front, the caution comes out, but this might not be doom and gloom, because is this it? That's the million-dollar question. We rolled that dice with Marcus Ericsson, had the red flag, had the pause, got back going again. Now it's Scott Dixon and Chip Ganassi who sit in that seat. Is this the mild drizzle that we saw earlier, or is this the big bank of rain that we know's coming in? But all the while, it's Scott Dixon who sits in that all-important top spot as we saw one or two diving into pit lane. Alex Palou, it is in second place. Joseph Newgarden now in third because he is the lead car on the primary strategy. Of course, Scott Dixon and Alex Palou, 58 laps since their last stop.
Take your time.
Now, have they got enough fuel in the car, or will they have to do an emergency stop as well? Because Kiffin Simpson ran out of fuel early on in.
You can hear he's lifting and coasting quite a bit.
There is a few question marks. Okay, if they throw the red.
Red flag! Red flag is out! The race is stopped again on lap 200, and that surely will be it! The red flag is out! The race is stopped! Wow! So race control have decided that that is enough.
Scott Dixon
Red
and Chip
flag!
Ganassi, because I had a sneaky suspicion that they might have had to make an emergency stop.
So the race is stopped for the weather again. That might well be it here. The race could be over.
Too hard, you can see it on the aero screen there, that Scott Dixon leads the field in. Alex Palou behind, then you got Newgarden and Ericsson, Rasmussen and VK, your top six. 200 laps completed of 260 here at Gateway, and it's Scott Dixon and the PNC Bank Chip Ganassi machine that leads the field to a stop here. For the second time today, we're under red flag conditions because of the weather. Now let's see what the Fox team have to say. Race control just says conditions at the moment. How hard will it rain? And will we get going again?
Dregs of fuel, and the race is now under a red flag. Now, I think that's more likely to be a toilet stop for the fans than it is for rain, because it doesn't. Or for food and beverages, because it doesn't appear that the rain is all that bad. But we did have enough to make it too treacherous to continue out on track at 170 miles an hour.
Look at Chip Ganassi there, team owner, peeking out from underneath the pit stand roof, looking up into the skies and try to get a sense of what's coming down. And you know, we've got our own experts on pit lane. Kevin, what can you tell us?
It stopped raining. It's not raining right now. It wasn't raining hard, but it was a really steady sprinkle, and the red flag was the right call. So here's the question I have for our strategists in the booth. We know Dixon and Palou have to stop. So when it goes back to green, they will need the pits to open, or back to circulating. They need the pits to open as soon as possible. They're in danger of running out of fuel. But what about everybody else? They have to decide if they think the race is going another 60 laps. Under caution here, they're really in the window. Does everyone go ahead and make their final stop just so they know that we're stopping under the caution rather than risking making that final stop under the green, which is what would move Palou and Dixon back to the front if Newgarden, Ericsson, etc. have to stop under a green? Does that make sense?
It does make sense, but the other question is, will it rain again? As we take a look here, it looks like whatever just caused this current red flag is passed through, and then we get an open spot here to the south. And Kevin, I think the answer is you pit under the caution when it opens to restart this thing, because why would you want to pit under green? If you've got a caution to take that last stop, you absolutely want to do it. The good news is that we haven't lost the racetrack here.
So I'm looking at the timing and scoring screen. Palou and Dixon are on their own lap. They've got the field lapped at the minute. So when we get rolling again, no? Or is it just because they've crossed the lap?
I think they might be past start finish on pit lane for the red. No. I'm going to stand up here. Yeah, it is. See James here.
Okay.
Here's start finish.
Yes.
So Newgarden and Ericsson are behind the start finish line as the red flag occurred. And Dixon here, and here's start finish. That's the timing line here. And I think that's Joseph Newgarden. and Marcus Ericsson. So Dixon and Palou are in front of that timing loop. Newgarden, Ericsson, Rasmussen, and VK are just behind. As soon as they cross that, they'll both be on the same lap.
So 6 cars on the lead lap, you absolutely take this. We're going to get back out on the racetrack. It's still going to be a lap or 2 before the pits open. The big question is, can the 9 and 10 make it until the pits open? Will these engines even start? Were they so low on fuel?
And if they run out of fuel, will IndyCar officials push them behind the wall like they did Dixon's teammate Kiffin Simpson earlier and not even give him a chance to get back?
Regardless, if you're one of these top 6 cars on the lead lap, you absolutely pit now when the pits open, provided we get the track back and we get to go back racing.
And by the way,
then it just neutralizes everyone's on the same boat.
But it's not a layup for Marcus Ericsson, Joseph Newgarden, because you still have 60 laps to go. Remember, Marcus Ericsson, Joseph Newgarden were only able to go 51 laps for Newgarden at the start of this thing. 52 there for Ericsson, so it's a long ways to make it. You don't have that many caution laps.
And you're racing, guys. That's where it gets tricky.
Totally.
Trying to keep that number, but still knowing that you're within that top 5 or 6 fighting for the win, especially when your car's been as good as what we've seen out of Ericsson and out of this guy here, Newgarden. It's an interesting situation that's developing here, guys.
Georgia, what can you tell us?
Gosh, I hope that I can get an answer for you guys because it is interesting down here. This is Jonathan Duguid, strategist for Joseph Newgarden. What do you do in a situation like this?
Well, I pray for no more rain because we got a really fast car, and obviously Joseph cycled to the front there. But I think it's going to be 2 strategies of stopping and hitting the fuel number you need to make, and some people are going to gamble and try to make it to the next rainstorm here, which may come in the next half hour, may get to the end of the race. So it'll be interesting.
I see you have a lot of data up here, the radar being one of those things. How quickly are you making these decisions?
Pretty quickly now. The last 2 rain showers we haven't showed up on radar, which makes it a little bit difficult to figure it out. But we're doing the best we can here, and Joseph's doing a great job, and the car's quick. The rest is kind of out of our hands, but if it goes all green, I'm confident we're going to be at the front.
Thanks, Jonathan. We've talked about Joseph's accolades here. Winner of 5 of 10 races here in St. Louis.
It's an incredible record for Joseph Newgarden. What chance a 6th tonight? He's looked in inspired form. There is a very real question, guys, as to how much fuel exists within the bellies of the number 9 and number 10 cars.
Not much. It's going to be interesting. I can't remember off the top of my head how long they circulate under yellow typically after a red flag before they open the pits. But if it's more than 2 laps, we could see both the 9 and the 10 have to come in for emergency service and effectively take them out of the fight for the win.
Well, you could hear my call came on the radio for Scott Dixon immediately when the caution said save, 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 because they knew they would be in this situation. Caution, potentially red flag, which did come, and then caution with pits closed before they get a chance to refuel. Now, they can take emergency service if it was diabolical, but then there'll be a penalty for that.
It was a risk to take. Had this been a deluge and not a sprinkle, it would have been a risk that paid off, a gamble that absolutely paid off, a bit of strategic mastery. But it is yet to be known exactly how this is going to play out for that squad.
And this is a strategic situation that should be acknowledged as the sweeper's out, having lots of time to make the racing surface extra clean, extra free of marbles, so that we could go 2 or potentially 3 wide. You gotta wonder what some of these drivers are thinking now. The 2nd red flag of the evening. They've been out of the race cars. They've been back in the race cars. Starts, restarts, tons of strategy. Let's check in with the driver of the number 2 if he'll talk to us. Hey, Joseph, it's Townsend up in the Fox booth. You copy?
Yep, copy.
Hey, man, it's been a wild night here with the way this is all playing out, but you do have a fast race car and sit at the front of the field for the cars that have made it this far on this strategy. Do you think you'll pit when the pits open here?
You know, fortunately, I don't have to make that call. I'll leave that to my great team. But I'm feeling pretty spicy out here. I even whipped out the left leg tonight, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's good to see you making a quick recovery from that injury. How's it feel in the cockpit? When you took a wallop of a hit 2 weeks ago, it hasn't been that long. We're back on an oval, a lot of lateral G's, all in the same direction. How are you feeling in the cockpit?
Yeah, it feels pretty good. You know, it's a lot of grip out here, to be honest. Just with these cool conditions, track temp's pretty low. A lot of hard racing. it seems like there's a lot of good cars, and everyone has been racing fair. So, it's been a fun race. It's always chaotic with the rain. I hate how much that mixes it up. It's more fun to race it straight up, but you gotta work with what you got sometimes with nights like this.
It's close quarters with Marcus Ericsson mid-race. You guys had a touch. We saw your front wing end fence on the right side certainly move quite a bit. Any concern with aero balance or that front wing hanging in there?
Yeah, I don't know. It felt fine to me. So if there's something wrong with it, I don't know.
Well, Sunday night shootout, it's getting late. As soon as the engines start, I'm sure you won't be feeling that tired. Let's electrify this crowd and bring it home strong.
Yeah, it's up 4. I'm going to try and do my best. We've got a great demo car, like you said, and Team Chevy's done a great job, so enjoy the show.
Go get it.
Great to hear from Joseph Newgarden, and this is a guy, as we were saying, who, let's just say he knows his way around this place. A phenomenal racer on ovals, we know that. Has won 4 of the last 6 races here, 5 in total.
And it could have been more. You think about
last year,
leading, taken out in an accident, another year leading while had an incident all on his own. And here's a look at the timing stand. You see Jonathan Duguid, also Miles Rowe, who won the Indy Next race earlier today in absolutely phenomenal fashion from last to first. Electric, passing every car in the field.
I've rarely seen a drive that good in an open wheel car. It was, I mean, frankly, it was insane. He was so phenomenal, and he's so good on ovals. And so I put it out on social earlier. I want to see that guy in the Indy 500 next year.
I think a lot of people would love to see that. What was so cool about this story in qualifying for Indy Next, he actually had the fastest time. A procedural error meant that his time was disallowed, so that's why he had to start last, and he just showed up with intention and executed beautifully.
And there you see the stat. Nobody has ever come from that far back to win in Indy Next race series history. And Miles Rowe, simply brilliant. High, low, every which way he was making passes happen. A huge star for the future.
And guys, this was a race with no pit stops, no strategy, just flat out racing.
No luck, all talent.
Absolutely stunning. What a talent, Miles Rowe. Not for the first time, impressing everyone in this paddock. Georgia.
Well, something that makes so interesting is the fact that he has always so calm, cool, and collected. And before the Indy Next race today, I'm starting all the way in the back, like you guys have said, he told me, yeah, I think I could use a few yellows to help me through the field, but I don't think I really need it. He knew from the beginning that he was going to be good enough to work his way through the field, and he did just that. It was incredible to watch.
Absolutely staggering. On Speed with Harvick and Buxton, we have to choose our drivers of the week every week. Miles is my pick for this week. I made that decision before we'd even seen the green flag here in the IndyCar race. It was that kind of a performance that leaves you in no doubt. It was just exceptional. Miles Rowe, 3 career Indy Next wins, all of them coming on ovals.
And the guy finished second last week in Detroit, so he can get it done on the road and street circuits too. But something special on the oval tracks with this guy, and absolutely would be a blast to see him run a super speedway like Indianapolis next May.
It would be. Would love to see him in a car next year in the main show, in the main stage. He has definitely showed he's got what it takes.
How many cows are on the lead lap? Yeah, 2 at the moment, Scott. You and Palau.
Sorry, well, how many laps for you?
860.
And the winner?
It's 50-50.
Yeah, unfortunately, he was looking at the same data we were. There's 6 cars that will be on the lead lap once they fire these things back up, which we hear is going to happen any moment now. In fact, in 2 seconds, we're going to fire them back up.
There we go.
That's the...
Engines are refired. We are go for a 4th time today. Are we going to get this race to the end? 60 laps to go, Kevin.
So we're going to have to do emergency service. They're going to take 2 seconds of fuel, then they're going to come around and pit when the pit opens. So the chance to win likely is going away for Dixon. Let's see if he goes straight to the pit box now.
So there you have it. That answers the question. You see the 9 crew sprinting to get down to the pit box, knowing that their driver is going to be coming in this lap to take emergency service. You got to assume the 10 of Palou is doing the same.
He's going to say the same. Opens the race with Alex Palou, and that would put Newgarden, Ericsson, Rasmussen, VK, and rookie Kyle Collette at the front of this field in the top 5.
So just to confirm for the folks at home, emergency service means the pits are still closed, but you have to take that service in order to carry on going.
You can take 2 seconds of fuel, and then you're going to have to come in and get your actual service.
So Dixon,
fuel and tires.
Dixon does. He's on pit lane.
But we're
Yeah,
not hearing
emergency service
any
in.
radio chatter from the 10 to say that he's coming as well. And if you look on the racetrack,
Palou's gone through.
Have a look. Is he staying
there? Yeah, he's still there.
Right,
So Dixon, more
Palou
marginal
leads.
than his teammate, has to stop while the pit lane is closed. Take on emergency fuel.
Regardless of what happens here, all these leaders are going to come in at some point. All those cars on the lead lap will get to come in first. It's going to be a race off pit lane, and then it's going to be very busy. The next lap team battles, all the cars that have lapped themselves will come in.
Yeah, we talk about mentally resetting as a driver, but how about these crew members? These guys have been standing most of these 2 long red flag periods, and now they have to perform likely under caution when it really counts on what is likely the final pit stop of this race. You see the men and women that go over the wall here, starting to stretch out, get amped up, and ready to go to work.
I see pit crew standing by, ready and waiting. I see the 21 crew of Christian Rasmussen. I see the 76 crew of Rinus VK. When this pit lane opens, and you're right, guys, it is going to be a mad dash.
And by pitting, because of the cars that were in between him and Palou, Kyle Collette and Kyle Kirkwood have now rejoined the tail end of the lead lap. That puts Power as the first car a lap down. So on this first time by when the pits open, it's those 8 cars you're going to want to see coming in.
Kirkwood's crew is standing by, Collette's crew is standing by, Malukas' crew is standing by, almost every team on pit lane standing by, ready and waiting.
The lap down cars will stay out to get their lap back, but Palou did enough to save the fuel. He outsaved Scott Dixon, the best in the business, to get it done. And everyone comes to pit lane, including the number 2, Georgia.
Yeah, we just heard from his strategist, Jonathan Duca. These decisions are...
Oh, Alex Palou is out of fuel on pit road. Alex Palou is out of fuel and he is down pit road.
Palou is out of fuel, guys.
Palou is running out of fuel. He's trying to coast to his box, but it's all the way at pit out. Is he going to make it? Regardless, he's going to lose track position, and this race off pit lane might determine the race. Marcus Ericsson did decide to stop. Everyone is within the window to be able to make it home. And Joseph Newgarden with the lead lap cars is the first one that is out. Rinus VK also. Dixon, but he took emergency service, then Kirkwood. Palou just now got to the box.
So Newgarden gets out ahead of Rossi. Rasmussen, Palou somehow made it into his box, but running down pit lane that slowly really caused a bottleneck for everybody else down there.
These things are not easy to restart when they run bone dry like this. You got to repressurize the fuel line. They're turning it over and hoping that it fires.
Yeah, it's not a
Alex
guarantee.
Palou could be out of this race.
Refuse to fire back up, especially when it's been hot and run dry. Like you said, you see Palou's name just falling down the order.
He's out. Surely he's out.
Down. It has all come unstuck for Ganassi. They took the gamble.
Why?
And rolled
That
the dice,
stupid
and it
gamble.
has come up snake eyes. Newgarden has the advantage. And this was the moment he came onto pit lane, and it was literally the moment that he crossed the line that he seemed to run out of fuel. There's Ericsson.
Wrong
Newgarden,
choice.
There's Rasmussen behind as well.
And all you can do is clutch and coast if you're Alex Palou and watch all of these positions blow by you here and just hope you can make it to the box.
Marcus Ericsson didn't pass Palou for quite a while. He sat there. You see Newgarden immediately.
He recognizes it, doesn't he?
But then he's on the limit, so he's just going to go, and then Palou's car starts falling off. Ericsson behind him stayed neck and neck with him to not pass him under yellow before he realized the situation. So quite a few seconds you see him here. Oh, he's slowing down for Newgarden to get into his box.
Yeah, he was blocked in.
So time lost there for the 28, and that's part of the reason why he did fall behind Rasmussen.
And he's still on.
Here we go. Finally, right in.
And I don't know if he's going to get to the blend line. to see how IndyCar reorders Alex Palou. Oh man, this has been a lot going on today.
What a turnaround. What a turnaround for the championship leader. The pole sitter, Alex Palou, on the back of his 4th consecutive pole, having taken a pole in a road course, pole on a street course, pole on the superspeedway, pole here on the short oval. Alex Palou's conversion rate this season has not been fantastic from pole position, and it will not come his way today, not barring some sort of insane miracle. He's now 19th and 2 laps back.
And some of this confusion with Palou actually helps the whole field here, because it likely adds a few yellow laps as IndyCar works to reorder the field. Everybody in precious danger zone of just making it to the end. 54 laps to go here, and a lot of the fast cars only went 52, 53 laps under green, so every lap of caution right now really helps to extend the window and make it to the end.
Yeah, I think it puts most of these drivers in a pretty safe spot, which means it's good for us because we're going to be able to just watch a flat-out sprint, a flat-out fight to the finish.
This is a
so
long
you see right
night.
now Scott Dixon sitting here in P5, but he is going to have to serve that penalty. He's going to have to restart from the back of the field. You see him falling back now.
Actually running through pit lane.
Jack.
James, just want to talk about ECR. Alexander Rossi got a radio communication that just said, help out your teammate, he can win this race. Christian Rasmussen and his team were having conversations under that red. They were talking about front wing change. When they came to pit, they decided not to. We saw how sporty he is. We know how good he is. This battle for the win is well and truly on.
So you see right there, Alex Rossi, right behind Joseph Newgarden. He is running a lap down right now, 2 laps down actually in 18th position. But right behind him is his teammate in P2.
Several cars still on pit lane. These were the lap down cars now allowed to make their final stop. Big racing on pit lane position there. That's crazy. As they pull away. There's 10 cars after getting the wave around, making their final stop. So everybody now fueled up, rubbered up, ready to rip. So that, guys, with the wave around, this whole group that just pitted is now on the lead lap.
Okay.
So when they cross the line, there will be 50 to go, and we ostensibly have a reset. Joseph Newgarden leads Christian Rasmussen. Marcus Ericsson will be 3rd. Guys, Rinus VeeKay and Kaio Collet are still in the hunt for this win. Carl Kirkwood is up there as well.
I mean, in that top 5, you've got 5 drivers that have all had phenomenal nights to even be in this position. Newgarden always good here. Rasmussen always good on a short oval. Ericsson sort of dominated this event so far. And then VeeKay and Collet have put on drives of the year for each of them.
And what about Rinus VeeKay, Jack?
Been absolutely flying, Will. He has had 4 top 10s at this race. We mentioned that earlier. He's never been on the podium. The radio communication from him and his team, go and get it.
Scott Dixon still classified 9th. He will drop to the rear of the field now.
Yeah, all those cars that had to get their lap back, that pit fell back behind Dixon, so he'll now fall to the tail end of the lead lap cars. That should put him, I believe, 15th on the road. 15th.
And again, this long yellow period now, 50 to go. It'll be 49 at the line. This gives everybody a chance to run full rich to the finish. And with so many cars back on the lead lap, expect this restart to get really wild.
About 20 minutes.
So Newgarden leads. Rossi is 2nd on the track, but not 2nd in terms of the classification. He has been told by the team to help his teammate out, so I imagine he will get out of the way when we get back to racing.
Yeah, he showed us 2 laps down right now. So question is, what does he do with Marcus Ericsson? They're stacked up. Pace car lights are out.
Yeah, we're getting ready for a restart. Look how haggard I am as well. I've been up now for 24 hours. Right. Crack your back. Get ready. for the 7th time, we're racing again here at St. Louis, and it's a good restart from Newgarden. Rasmussen gonna try and attack as around the outside of the lap, traffic going through. Ericsson's on the attack. That is Rossi helping out his teammate of Rasmussen. Rasmussen might be able to win this as we go with Lucas trying to go too wide further back as he tries to get through on Will Power and Pato O'Ward as they come through. Newgarden leading this race from Rasmussen, Ericsson, VK, Kirkwood, Collette, Power, Lundgaard, and then McLaughlin moving up and now ahead of Lundgaard into 8th position. Malukas has the top 10. So Newgarden and Malukas back ahead of Lundgaard for 9th. So they've swapped back. Newgarden might still have the advantage here today. He's just got to find something because the lead is changing already. Newgarden's on the inside line, but look at Christian Rasmussen. He's trying to go around the outside. It's Penske versus Ed Carpenter Racing as they come over the line. Newgarden goes to where he was upside down a year ago. Rasmussen's in his toe. He goes to the inside line. He's on the hybrid. They are wheel to wheel in turn 1, and Rasmussen takes the lead. Oh boy, we had to wait for that. We really have. But Christian Rasmussen takes the lead of the race away from Joseph Newgarden with a absolutely brilliant move. Wheel to wheel through turn 1 and 2. Newgarden's going to have to drop back. And look now, he's still got some hybrid. We ride on board with Rasmussen. Listening through 1 and 2. He has the control. Ericsson is now going to have an attack on Newgarden as they come down out of turn 2, down to 3 and 4 on the backstretch. On board now with Ericsson. He's running in 3rd. Newgarden's just ahead. 44 laps to go. Now we're running about 26 seconds per lap. The last lap time for Rasmussen was 26.7. So average that as about 50. Just about over 54 seconds per lap. So yeah, 2 laps every minute we're averaging equals. It's a 21 minute remaining, and that was a tremendous start. Absolutely brilliant. As they come through. Hello Bob, hello everyone. Hopefully everyone goes through. What is Rasmussen doing on short track racing? He is doing absolutely what he was taught to do.
Newgarden for seeing it coming, checking up and making sure he didn't get too high.
Rasmussen from 19th on the grid leads this race. He has had a miserable season so far. 2nd bottom in points. A new contract in his pocket this week. Renewed confidence. And ironically enough, given how exciting he is on this kind of a racetrack, a level of calm today. That is rare for Rasmussen.
Power!
As Power and Pato O'Ward go side by side.
TWG AI on board shows the pass complete for Power. O'Ward now falls down to 10th. And Power sets his sights on the McLaughlin.
And here comes Newgarden.
Newgarden going back on the inside. Joseph Newgarden in turn 3 gets back ahead. Rasmussen's going to hold on around the outside. It hasn't worked. Newgarden blocks the inside line down to turn 1. He's not going to fall for the same trick track. Oh, maybe he is on the inside. And Rasmussen leads again. He did fall for the same trick twice. Unbelievable there. So Rasmussen retaking, these two are going to leapfrog each other the entire way, aren't they? This is going to be an incredible battle. So Newgarden did a fast lap of the race at 26.526, which is 169.647 as they come over the line. There we see again Rasmussen leading. No sign of that rain that's coming in though, which we knew might hit within the next 20 minutes, and we've got 20 minutes to go. 40 laps in total as we start ticking them down as Newgarden pulls to the inside line on the run down to turn 3 to get ahead of Rasmussen, and he's done it now. Rasmussen lifts off to try and get the toe back, coming over the line, but I think he's lifted a bit too much because here comes Ericsson and VK. 4-way fight for the victory here at St. Louis, and this is what we've been waiting for time and time and time again, and now this is being delivered. So Newgarden, Rasmussen, Ericsson, VK.
The strongest car on old tires, so Marcus just biding his time.
Excellent, excellent stuff from Ericsson.
Wow.
I just love the ebb and flow. The fact that these cars are able to pass and repass.
And now you have to start to wonder how many more laps until they get into the back of lap traffic. It's about a half a lap right now for Joseph Newgarden to catch Kiffin Simpson.
And here comes Ericsson.
Ericsson's on the back now. He's on the attack of. Ericsson's on the attack of Rasmussen.
38 to go.
That's the thing. That's the number you got to remember. 38 more cracks at this. You got to just be patient. Line them up. See where your car's a little bit stronger. See which lane that he prefers at each end of the racetrack and try to get your car to work on the other one.
But you can't let Newgarden escape that last lap for Joseph Newgarden. 167. He's the fastest driver on track by some margin.
And guys, Rinus VeeKay is just hanging on to the back of this battle. They've pulled away from Kyle Kirkwood in 5th. This top 4 is sort of running their own race right now, and nobody is able to pull away from VeeKay. He's doing a phenomenal job.
VeeKay's been brilliant today.
On board here with Marcus Ericsson, the Delaware Life on board. Look at how high Christian Rasmussen goes mid-corner. He's hunting for clean air to the outside. I've never seen a driver so comfortable to dance on the ragged edge. Remember, you have the marbles just to the outside where Rasmussen's running. Now he goes low.
When he goes high like that, it gives a lot of clean air on the bottom of the racetrack to Ericsson. And you saw him take that and get a really good run off it, too.
These 4 drivers still fighting it out for the podium, but each and any one of them could still win. And now here comes Ericsson on Rasmussen.
Ericsson cuts to the inside line. Rasmussen's on high. Ericsson goes down low, coming into turn 3. Rasmussen can't find a way through as they continue through, and he's dropping back. Then the yellow's out again.
Yellow issues. The caution is out for conditions.
Yellow for conditions. And with 34 to go, is that the end? Is Newgarden the winner? And has Ericsson missed out again? Oh! Oh, and that's an engine failure for Kyle Collette. It's blown up. Kyle Collette's car has blown up again, and it's now coming down pit road. He's out of the race.
What utterly galling luck for Kyle Collette.
But Kyle Collette was that's blown up after the yellow. It's yellow for conditions, and it's blown up after. It's blown up after the yellow.
Got him.
Is it for rain?
Not sure that this was actually yellow for any raindrops as much as just the smoke blowing out the back of the Combitrans car here as Kyle Collette already so sore still. And this is going to give him a bit of a headache as well tonight. Such a great run going.
Another race, though, in which he has impressed everybody.
Has got a best finish at 12th on the season, was on track to beat that by some margin. And look, the result's not going to be there, but you can be so proud if you're Kyle Collette going to bed tonight. You're going to be gutted that you don't have the piece of paper with the numbers showing where you should have finished, but that was huge.
And if those seats open up for next year, you've got to believe Kyle Collette's name is going to be in the mix. As we look at Ericsson, put that move on Rasmussen moments before the yellow comes out.
Yeah, and that's the thing to watch. Look at the dashboard lights, or look at the lights on the side of the racetrack. Pass is done now.
Still green light back in the distance, so well before the caution.
Yeah.
Good move from Ericsson as Cyrus is, of course, the ultimate fan tonight.
This is what I was saying. That 28 just seems so strong as we go further into a run. The one thing this is going to do, though, is that it stops the leaders from catching those lap cars again. I'm not sure they'll be able to do it in the laps remaining now, depending on when we get green.
But so Marcus Ericsson, it's going to be a tougher job, I think, with Newgarden because his line is down low. That's where Ericsson likes to run. Rasmussen running that high line left all that clean air and allowed him to get the run. And just take a look at career oval wins.
Just look what you're up against. You're up against a guy with 19 wins on ovals, 5 of them right here. And as we already said, probably could have easily made that 7. So if Ericsson's going to do it, he's got to beat the best in the business at Gateway.
And it's not just beating the best in the business. Behind Marcus Ericsson are a bunch of super talented oval drivers. You go all the way back to Will Power there. There's 7 other cars behind Marcus Ericsson where if he gets a little too aggressive and has to do a big checkup, he's going to have a freight train blasting by him.
I mean, this guy's got 10 wins on ovals. Ferrucci here looking for his first, but we know he can be sporty.
And hey, guys, Christian Lundgaard, we've talked a lot about him not necessarily having it all together on ovals, but up in the top 10 today, 3 places ahead of the Indianapolis 500 race winner as now.
These guys want tires. These guys want Firestone courage with 30 laps to go.
Give me four cups of Firestone courage.
Give me 4 good ones. and some green flag running, and I'm going to go big. This is going to be fun to watch these drivers, including Pato O'Ward, Scott McLaughlin, Will Power, Scott Dixon, all still on the lead lap.
You want action and excitement. We've got 30 laps to go. Oh no, and that is a pretty horrible stop for Will Power. Andretti's pit lane woes return. And he drops down.
Loses 3 spots on that sequence.
Armstrong gaining 3 in the 66. McLaughlin maintaining the front of that pack of cars that pit.
And in order to make these new tires really work, you want a clean racetrack.
Before we get back to racing, one of the standout drivers of the day has impressed everybody. Caio Collet with Georgia.
And the results will not be indicative of the speed and the show that he put on today. Caio, how do you process this?
Yeah, just hard. I think we did everything right today, from the strategy to driving to everything, and it's racing.
Thank you, Caio.
Oh, that's heartbreaking. In tears. That's how much it means to him, what this result would have meant to him tonight. But hold your head up high, Caio. That was quite some drive. We have drivers on pit lane more taking tires and fuel.
Yeah, I wonder if you'd be better off with the rear bar at 6 and maybe a little less left front wing. Yeah, I'm just like everything possible. So.
Sounds like a big understeer issue for Kyle Kirkwood there. Rear bar to 6, that's full stiff. Left front weight, that's a weight jacker adjustment that you would make to try to get some more front grip in the car.
So my apologies, they're not taking on tires and fuel, they're actually just
reordering to the back.
Guys, this is now fascinating. P9 back are all on fresh tires. P1 to 8 are on used tires. 28 to go. This is not over, not by a long shot.
And watch these two, Scott McLaughlin and Pato O'Ward. They have made some big moves tonight. They are back in the hunt on fresh rubber and plenty of laps to make some positions up here as the pace car pulls off.
I love it. I love it. Bring it on.
It's a 500-mile race, our second 500-mile race inside of 3 weeks. What have we got to do? 2 weeks technically, but here we go. Coming in the last corner, Joseph Newgarden leading Marcus Ericsson and Christian Rasmussen. And Newgarden goes in the restart zone.
With Ericsson, look how close they all are. VK has a look. Maluka's round the outside of Kirkwood.
It's very good in the first corner. Newgarden, Ericsson, Rasmussen, VK go on the attack.
Touch further back. I think on the front wing is McLaughlin.
Oh, so high.
Big leads for Ferrucci.
McLaughlin with a head of steam.
3 wide. Armstrong on his teammate Rosenqvist. And here comes Pato O'Ward once again around Rosenqvist and tucked up behind Armstrong. Now here comes McLaughlin.
He's already into the top 6 now, making a move on to Lucas.
We know how much understeer the 27 of Kyle Kirkwood's dealing with right now. He's the next guy in line for McLaughlin.
We talk about a retro livery. This one playing back to 2009 to the Indy 500 win for Helio Castro-Neves. It looks like a...
After that sneezing fit that I'm getting because I've been up too long, so everything starts sneezing. Ferrucci right in the back of Armstrong. McLaughlin on the back of Kirkwood. Worst time to have a sneezing fit, by the way, when we're coming to a green flag. Apologies for that one. Newgarden, Ericsson, Rasmussen, VK, Kirkwood, McLaughlin. Then we get in there, Malukas, Armstrong, Ferrucci. O'Ward has the top 10. Power's just on the outside of it as well. Scott McLaughlin is starting to fly through the fields. Will Power tries to go around the outside now of O'Ward. He's done so for 10th position. Ferrucci holding off those places as well. Newgarden leading by just 0.3 of a second to Ericsson. Now, it cannot be any more yellow because Ericsson needs to get ahead of Newgarden. Meantime, Scotty Mack is going round the outside of Carl Kirkwood, coming down to turn 3 and 4. He's on the outside line. That's very close to contact, and McLaughlin's going to put the foot down to the floor, and he's through. Brilliant move from Scott McLaughlin. He goes up into 5th place ahead of Carl Kirkwood. He really is having an interesting day. It's Will Power and Santino Ferrucci are side by side further back over 9th position, and Power gets ahead of Ferrucci. He's down to 10th. Maluka's under attack now as well. He's under attack coming in from Marcus Armstrong and goes side by side. Armstrong on the inside, Maluka's on the high line. He keeps 7th place. What an amazing battle that we've got with 20 laps to go here. Power up to 9th, Ferrucci down to 10th. Joseph Newgarden is leading this race, but he's only half a second ahead right now. That's nothing in this world. As to the inside line now we get, that's O'Ward trying to pass Ferrucci. Meantime, Power attacking Armstrong, and that's Power. Did he get ahead of Armstrong? Yes, he did. He cleared him around the outside. So that manoeuvre's now been done over 8th position. He'll attack Malukas next. O'Ward has cleared Ferrucci over 10th place. What a absolutely incredible race that we are being treated to. 19 laps to go at the line. Newgarden from Ericsson, Rasmussen. There's about 10 minutes of racing left in this one as well. We might be out of here by 5:30. If the yellow comes out now for conditions, I don't think the race would restart. We are bordering on when that rain is supposed to come into the circuit. So, you know, take your time, draw lots, have a quiz, see what you want to do, because either way, this race is ending soon. Newgarden, foot to the floor. Ericsson right behind him by a couple of tenths of a second. The Sir Turbo, hello. I should have gone into this race only 2 hours away from me. Yeah, it is. You could have told us if it was raining or not, because we don't know. We've got a radar that's telling us it's 50-50 out there, so it's not great. Newgarden holding off for Ericsson. Lundgaard's got ahead of Ferrucci. So Lundgaard now in 11th position. Ferrucci's in P12 as they come through. 17 laps to go here at Gateway.
Those Firestones.
Although Louis Foster's really been the slowest car on track. He runs 20th right now, just did a lap of 162 at the tail end. Newgarden is 167. So I don't know, James, in 17 laps, they might catch Louis Foster at the back.
The gap is closing. Ericsson has led more laps tonight than he ever has on any racetrack in his entire IndyCar career.
And Ericsson could be on course for another victory, but he has to defeat Joseph Newgarden. It's a reverse of what happened a couple of years ago at the Indianapolis 500. He defeated him then, but then the following year Newgarden defeated him when Newgarden claimed his first 500 title in 2023. 23 and 24 belonged to Newgarden, 22 belonged to Ericsson, 24 as well, 25 belonged to Alex Palou, 26 is Felix Rosenquist's. As you look further back in time through all this, what an absolute weird day. 14 laps to go as we close in. Newgarden, Ericsson, Rasmussen, VK and McLaughlin as we just tick these laps down. We're trying to get into a green flag position, but there is a battle for the lead going on.
For the win, Rasmussen and VK for that final podium spot. With 14 to go, it will be 13 as we round turn 3 and 4 and come back across the line one more time.
Joseph just metronomic, hitting all of his marks, knowing exactly what he has to do. He'll be getting updates on which lane the 28 of Ericsson prefers to run at each end of the racetrack. He's going to do what he can to disturb that. There you go, gained on him just a touch, almost 7/10 of a second now, the difference. Newgarden pulling out just a little bit.
Newgarden isn't just good on ovals. He isn't just great at this track. He's won half of the races here as VK now has the run on Rasmussen.
Very close between him, then wheel to wheel. Rasmussen's holding that outside line. He's really not going to hold it back. Rasmussen holds off for third. VK stays in 4th position as they charge through again. So this is now going to be 10 to go shortly. Oh, O'Ward getting twitchy as Lundgaard goes around the outside and takes him for 10th position. His own teammate nearly making contact with him, and now he's lost to another place. So Armstrong, Lundgaard, Paso, Ward. Pato is down into 11th position. More overtakes happening on the back of the circuit. Newgarden holding off by 0.6 of a second now to Ericsson, who's running in, well, you can guess in 2nd position. Rasmussen 3rd, VK, McLaughlin, Kirkwood, Malukas, Power, Armstrong, Lundgaard, top 10. 10 to go. That's 5 minutes of running. Can they behave themselves for that long around this circuit?
T3, he's had the measure of this track all night, but can he find the measure of the man who could pretty much set up a home here? He's so comfortable. 50% of the races run at this track. Joseph Newgarden has won 5 out of the last 10. He's incredible here.
And don't forget, guys, we mentioned it earlier in the show, nursing an injury. Instead of not really feeling it in the race car, not really bothering him, and it's showing with the pace that he's got.
It's still go. It's still action zones.
Look at his eyes. Look at how far ahead
it's go time.
Joseph Newgarden is looking here. Brilliant stuff. Able to anticipate so much looking that far ahead. He looks calm, confident, and very much in control. 8 to go here, and I keep watching that lap traffic. Entering turn 4 as Joseph Newgarden is about a half a straightaway behind. It might factor on the final lap.
Yeah, nightmare fuel for Newgarden. He doesn't want to catch those guys if he can help it.
In fact, oftentimes what you do in this situation as the lead driver is try to manage the bubble of air behind you to not force yourself into that lap traffic. You start playing with the air and the turbulence along and across Marcus Ericsson's car to just keep that gap and drive as slow as you can and manage track position so you don't get the wild card, which is lap traffic, and it's still, there it is, it's on the same straightaway. Newgarden that much closer to Kiffin Simpson.
I think back to earlier in this race when Newgarden held this kind of 3/4 of a second to a second advantage over Ericsson, and Marcus somehow found something. He found a way to pull the gap back.
Yeah, he uses hybrid, which Newgarden has maximum over of Ericsson at the moment. 5 to go.
Remain for Marcus Ericsson to try to do what so few people have at this track, and that is to find a way past Joseph Newgarden.
Meanwhile, Christian Rasmussen seems to have just kind of closed back up now to the tail end of Marcus Ericsson. So, lots to play out here. 4 to go at the line.
I wonder if that near pass attempt there from VK came off the back of a slight mistake for Rasmussen, maybe having to check up because he's now pulled a healthy gap on the driver in the 76. 5 to go at the line.
Now 4. Well, maybe for VK, that was one last attempt, one last hurrah. Gave it all he had.
Sadly, I think that was just giving it all he had. The gap is 0.7. Rasmussen closing in. He's 0.9 back. The late red flags, the late cautions aren't doing anything. We're coming in for the final couple of laps here. Over the line, 3 to go. Lap 2, 5, 8 on the board. 3 to go in what has been a long night. IndyCar's longest night here at Worldwide Technology Raceway. And it has belonged again to Joseph Newgarden. He has done a brilliant job. We had to wait for it. We had to play with the conditions. 2 to go now. Ericsson's closing. The gap is 0.6 of a second. It's not over yet. 2 now on the board. Just 60 seconds. Ericsson's too far back. Newgarden's just got to do one more, and it will be a 6th victory out of 10 races here in Gateway. No one is better at ovals. No one is better at short ovals. Ericsson's closing. White flag in the air. Sponsored by Credit One Bank, as we've taken a very long time to get here. It's been 4 hours. Unbelievable push. Unbelievable resilience. But finally, IndyCar's longest night comes to a close here at Gateway. And the gates open for Joseph Newgarden, who wins the Bommarito Automotive Group 500. The checkered flags are falling. Newgarden victorious again on ovals.
He moves to ninth on the all-time win list. His 34th career win. His 6th here in St. Louis.
Stand by for some pyrotechnics coming through. As you heard from Will Buxton, Joseph Newgarden with victory here today ties Al Unser Jr. on the all-time wins list. As the fireworks go off, Newgarden, Ericsson, Rasmussen 1, 2, 3, VK McLaughlin, Kirkwood, Malukas, Power, Armstrong, Lundgaard has the top 10. That is a race and a half. Let's check in with Tom Gaymore on the other side of the break as well, and we'll hear from our race winner.
What a win here for Joseph Newgarden, his 2nd oval victory of the season, his 6th win at Gateway. He is something special. He just owns this place, even with a busted foot. And the other big story tonight, Carl Kirkwood taking points out of Alex Palou, who had a sizable 60-plus point lead coming into this weekend, but will have that shrunk heading to Road America in a couple of weeks. But one man that won't be thinking about that, who will just be thinking about tonight under the lights at Gateway, it's Team Penske with another win, their 11th win at Gateway. Joseph Newgarden 6th, and he is unbeatable. Just someone give him the keys to this place. He loves every inch of this racetrack, and he is a sensational driver, especially on these short ovals. And as I said, even with that busted foot, as he sort of gingerly hobbles out of the car, and you can hear the celebrations, the spoils, and that was a long evening in this race car, almost 3.5 hours, with everything that has gone on here with the red flags for conditions, the cautions for the crashes. But the one man who has managed it better than anyone else, the one man who has dodged all the drama, and the one man who has driven his car to the front into victory lane, the winner's circle, it is Joseph Newgarden, and the captain will have enjoyed that one. Penske back on top at Gateway. Story of what could have been a fantastic result for him, and of course Andretti and Christian Rasmussen again at the front on a short oval. His form with ECR on these tracks is almost unrivaled, but it's Joseph Newgarden's night at Gateway.
Celebrates the win, still unsteady on that leg. Gingerly climbing out of the car. And let's take a look at the moment of the race, sponsored by Pennzoil, and this was the race-defining move, the move that sealed the win.
These guys went back and forth for a couple of laps, but hugely respectful driving from both. But in the end, Newgarden just too tough for the rest.
Oh, James, that back and forward between Rasmussen and Newgarden was incredible, wasn't it?
It was just the kind of stuff you want to see on a Sunday night race here in Gateway and IndyCar, and this guy gets all the credit and all the applause, and well deserved.
And our race winner is standing by with our Kevin Lee.
I'm standing by, but he has earned a seat. I guess the foot is okay, but this looks pretty good for a throne on top of your Chevrolet. How did you fight back when Christian Rasmussen got you?
Well, I don't know what was going on there, but I was going back by him. I don't know what he was doing, but it's this team right here, unbelievable, this Ostemo crew, Team Chevy. I mean, we had everything we needed tonight with Team Penske, so great job to the group. You know, it was just a methodical night, I felt like. We had a good car to start, needed to tweak. I wasn't perfect, but then it really came to us just as we needed, and they called the race. It's a track position day. You got to give a lot of credit to Marcus. I thought he was incredibly strong. I don't really think there was much between us. So it was a matter of like who's going to get positioning on each other, and that's what's going to seal the deal. So he drove a great race and certainly could have won this as well. But, you know, this team did the job tonight, so I think that's why we're here.
You were a road racer growing up, but you've won not only 6 times here, 11 of the last 24 oval races. What have you found in this skill set?
It's always the car. Look, it's, you know, I mean, if I'm winning races, it's because of the car. It's as simple as that.
Congratulations. Joseph Newgarden has won again in St. Louis.
And that's where we're going to call it tonight, everybody, because we are shattered down here. Thank you very much for your company. We will see you in a few weeks' time as IndyCar takes a very well-deserved break. Thank you for your company tonight. That has been absolutely long. Great race. We'll see you later. Take care. Bye-bye.